S. That's new.
Oh, he's S tier. They watched the Home Story Cup VODs.
He's worthy. Let's go.
They finally tuned into the VODs. They finally realized that he just won a tournament. He's probably S tier, and yeah, they've given him some points back. Give him some points.
Oliveira was like 74. He's like way down in B now.
They're so mean to him. They're
pretty harsh with him, yeah.
Not like this, puppy. Not like this. But here we go. Our first matchup is going to be Ryung versus Reynor. Meanwhile, just to catch up, how's everything been? I missed out on the first series. I missed out on the camels, puppy. The camels.
That's not important. What's important is I had a custard and raspberry pie today, and I got the McFlurry as well. I got both. For breakfast.
Yeah. How was it? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
It actually was. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to get another one, but
I
don't have the money for it right now. But my PayPal goes into the negative, so sometimes I get like one time that I can buy something I don't have the money for.
Actually, you need to calm down. I'm cutting you off, Puffy. I'm cutting you off from your custard addiction. Spawning in the top right-hand corner for Ancient Sister and for Onsyde Gaming, it is Ryung.
And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map for Basilisk, it is Reynor. It's not just the custard. The ice cream and the raspberry goes really well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. It does. It's like they're merging in your mouth. You know, they're coming together in a union that you never knew you wanted, but now that you've experienced it, you want it again.
Yes. I'm waiting for you to make it weird. I know you're trying to, but you're not quite there yet.
Why do you want me to make it weird? What?
I don't want you to make it weird, but I'm anticipating it.
Oh my god. Have you ever... No.
Actually, maybe.
Maybe. Have you... never mind. I was gonna say if you ever had like 2 different flavors in your mouth at once, and how that feels.
Sort of. I think so.
Does the Vegemite sandwich count?
Oh, true. Is it like the Vegemite sandwich?
It was a lot better than that. Let's see we go. Ryung going to be going for a CC first.
Mm-hmm. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Just to catch everyone up as well. Thank you so much to Kuro and Asher as well for casting the first series. As I was unable to cover it, we do have a third CC in the main though for Ryung. Let's go.
No fear from Mr. Tuna, man.
Yeah.
I guess he realizes he's going to have to do something a little bit weird to take out a player of the caliber of Reynor, and I think it's a pretty safe bet that Reynor is going to be going for something a bit more standard, a bit more straight up in the first game of a best of 2 against someone he's favored against. So I think this is really smart by Ryung.
Yeah. I mean, he is the favorite player, of course. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how Reynor is able to approach this as well. For the time being, Reynor is playing standard hatchcast pool, nothing too crazy as to be expected. I appreciate that the CC is also like hidden in the back of the main base of Ryung as well. So mate, the power, the confidence of Ryung, Papi. Let's go.
The build nerd in me is really tickled by the fact that you just don't have to make a second depot. Okay, we're just gonna have a couple Marines coming out from Ryung. I think he still hasn't started his factory.
Yeah, still no factory coming out from Ryung. Still, there we go. Factory is now thrown down as we speak. Meanwhile, Ryung just setting up back at home with his Marines as well. This is kind of wild. I love it.
Yeah, this is insanely greedy. I mean, it's straight up just a gamble that Reynor's not going to do anything weird. If Reynor's going for a roach build of any kind, he's dead. If Reynor even decided to like flood 10 lings, he's probably dead.
That's the thing, right? Like there's like these 3 Marines
going
wild.
to This is so sick.
Of course he is. Second factory is thrown down. Mech is on the way from Ryung off of the greediest opener possible. And against a player like Reynor, like this is the kind of stuff that you need to be doing, right? This is something that I'm sure he would not be expecting overall, at least when it comes to the opener.
Ryung's so cool. I feel like I've seen Cure do this build before, and it goes into like a 3-base Hellion Cyclone all-in. I'm pretty sure he killed Scarlet with that at some point.
That sounds right. Yeah, that's... Oh boy, and yeah, we'll see if he's able to catch Reynor off guard. We do see the Overlord diving into the main base. I believe it does catch wind of the third CC. I believe he has spotted it. At least he sees the factory, but he will die before he sees the second factory.
Yeah, he doesn't see those because they're tucked in towards the back, so very well prepared build by Ryung here. It looks like he is going to go starportless for a while as well, so I'm pretty sure it is going to be that sort of semi-all-in Hellion Cyclone pressure, and this does hit really hard and really fast. I think by about 6 minutes, he's going to have something like 4 Cyclones, maybe 10 Hellions. It's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, exactly, and hopefully Reynor's not too greedy. I mean, he does have a Roach Warren on the way already, so it looks like he's maybe caught wind of what is going on. So far, his queens are keeping up with the Hellions as well. Ryung has to be careful not to lose too much as he's building up towards that big push. Yeah, and with that Roach Warren, Reynor, he's going to have at least the tech available at his disposal.
Yeah, the Roach Warren's really interesting. I don't know if this is that he's anticipating mech from Ryung, just because Ryung plays mech quite a lot, or if he thinks that the best way to punish this fast third CC is to go for a 1-1 Roach all-in, just because the units won't be there in time, or the tank count won't be there in time, which I think makes sense as well. I'm guessing it's just for safety for now.
I would assume so, just because he made like a wave of roaches, then he started droning. So like, I'm assuming it's just for safety. We have the 4th base on the way. Yep, there we go. More droning on the way from Reynor, so he's just being defensive. I believe he also didn't throw down additional Evo chambers. There we go. +1 range is now on the way. But yeah, he's looking towards a later game.
Yeah, he and Serral have kind of just been playing like this, even against Bio. They've been going a lot for a lot of roaches and 2 infestors as a way to just safely get into the late game.
Yeah, they're just trying to survive, Papi. They're trying to live. And we'll see if he can as the Cyclones reveal themselves. The Blue Flame reveals itself as well. A lot of lock-ons on these roaches already.
Oh, let's go. 10 Hellions, 4 Cyclones. We're gaming. And the Queens and Roaches are being pushed back. This is an incredibly annoying push to deal with. You just don't really have the tools to stop this from getting value this early on. Ryung going to be committing pretty heavily, wants to get that dive into the natural, but the natural is locked up safely. Very solid defense from Reynor so far.
Yeah, exactly. With that wall of in time, looks like Ryung doesn't find too much damage whatsoever. He got a couple of roaches, which was nice, but outside of that, he hasn't really done any economic damage. You can see his Cyclone army, though, pushing towards the center of the map once again, clearing up all of that creep and getting ready for a run by.
This build's so cool. I'm gonna learn
it. You're an animal. You're like, oh, I lied. I don't play mech. Don't worry, Papi. Only against you.
No, but
Copium.
This is like if I run into like Chappie or Dav or something on the ladder, and I just want something where it's like I don't really care if I lose, but if they don't do anything aggressive, I just win. Which I think is why Ryung did it as well. I like it.
Yeah, it's a great way to really spice things up and play with the meta or play with how your opponent typically does approach this matchup. We can see him still being active as well. He's actually going to be able to catch potentially some of these queens. Gets a solid lock on as well and does not quite get them.
Yeah, good transfuses coming out from Reynor. We're going to have some pressure going down on this 5th base, but yeah, here we go. Reynor is going into +1 melee and +1 range. I feel like we haven't seen this in a while. I don't know if was a kill, not cancel. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but I feel like I haven't seen the double attack upgrades in a while, even though that used to be the standard way to play against mech.
Yeah, I mean, I do see that when we see Ling, Hydra, Viper, I still see melee research. Yeah, for that. But maybe it's just because like we haven't seen as much of like just straight up Lingbane Roach Ravager against mech recently, especially against battle mech as well. As we do see Ryung just vying for control of the Hellies. They find their way into a Mineral Lion.
Yeah, they're going to be roasting that all up with Blue Flame. There is just not much way for those drones to survive. Reynor not even going to be pulling them, doesn't want to make it worse by putting them in a straight line, and they are all going to be going down. But meanwhile, Reynor behind this, he throws down a Nidus. Looks like he might want to be Nidusing his queens to the front for a push, but I think he's kind of misreading the situation if that's his plan. Swarm hosts. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, and I think it will be a lot more effective.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the Queens will be staying at home. We have Swarm Host on the way instead. A little bit old school. We haven't seen Swarm Host against Mech in quite some time, but I'm all for it. I appreciate it, especially considering that Reynor doesn't really have a lot of map control. Like, going for these run-bys and counterattacks is difficult. The creep has been kept at bay, so going for Nidases instead is a great way to just keep Ryung on the back foot.
Yeah, so Reynor had this style that he was playing around with for quite a while. I saw him do it a lot on... I saw him doing it on Tropical Sacrifice, actually. So map pool ago, probably more than a year ago. What he would do is he would do Bane Ravager attacks like you normally would against Mech, but he would time them with Swarm Host waves. And I think that's what he's going to look to do here.
Okay, yeah, we'll see if he can pull apart his opponent. We'll see if Ryung can keep up with the constant aggression of Reynor, as the Nidus has finished up. The Swarm Hosts are going to be popped out as well. And Ryung, he hasn't seen these Swarm Hosts yet, but he does come across them.
Yeah, there we go. He finds them on the left-hand side here. So Locusts are going to be committed. A few of them diving early, so it's pretty nice for Ryung. He's going to actually leave a few units behind to try to bait a few more out as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. As the Locust Wave does get into the middle line, a lot of SCVs are going down. Oh my god, despite the notice ahead of time, 13 SCVs do fall.
Yeah, that's right. But Ryung's actually in a fantastic spot here. He's just transitioning so cleanly. He's getting his safety turrets up. His ghost transition with the 4 Raxes is already well underway. This is fantastic play from Ryung so far.
Yeah, he's been able to keep up and then some with the transitioning. Meanwhile, he catches these Swarm Hosts as well. He's going to be able to shut down that Nidus ahead of time. Meanwhile, the Banelings roll on forward. Good at pick up, good pull away from those workers. And the Banelings, they don't really find too much damage. They get a couple of aliens, that's it.
Yeah, brilliant play from Ryung. This is something we talked about when we saw him absolutely pop off against Dark. One of the skills that he has that's always been so impressive is his anticipation. He's really good at anticipating the moves from his opponents, and we could see it there with the way that he tracked where these Locusts were going to be coming from.
Exactly, and that typically does kind of come to fruition in TVT, but every now and then in a TVZ, he's able to pull that off as well, as he shuts down at that Nidus once again, doesn't lose too much either. Ryung still has a lot of momentum going his way, building up a massive army, and these Locust Waves just haven't been really paying for themselves the way that I'm sure Reynor thought they would.
Yeah, this is the way that you're kind of thinking this is meant to look as a Zerg player. Is you kind of want their opponent barricaded in their homes. Like, have you ever played COD Zombies?
Yeah.
It's like COD Zombies. You have to like repair all the barricades, and then the zombies come again and they break everything, and then you have to repair it again. That's kind of, I think that's kind of what you want here. You want the Terran to be like pushed straight back into their bases and just constantly trying to repair everything in time for the next wave until they eventually can't.
Yeah, exactly, and unfortunately that just hasn't really been happening. I mean, we are gaining ground here. We managed to get 2 tanks go down and a good amount of Hellion Cyclone as well, so Reynor doesn't trade too poorly there. And again, he is for the most part keeping Ryung at home, but Ryung is also expanding behind it.
Yeah, Ryung's on 94. The observer pointing out now as well, 94 workers here, which is I feel like that makes sense considering what he's up against, because he's going to be forced to trade whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And he should be losing some SCVs as well, as we do have another Locust Wave coming in. This time, a lot of tanks are going down, but we cannot break this position. One final tank falls to the Ravager Bile as well, but Ryung just hold on.
Yeah, the Blue Flame Hellbats are putting in work, and we're really close to 3-3 on... actually, that's not close. My eyes are pretty bad. We have 3-3 on the way, and 3-3 is a big power spike, especially for Blue Flame Hellbats, because that's when they start to one-shot links.
Oh, exactly. And yeah, we're going to be waiting for that to finish on up. And to be fair, I it's also hard to see as well. That's a very thin bar.
Yeah.
You should put your glasses on. As we do see Reynor just looking for more value. He's been getting a couple more tanks here and there, to be fair. And this Locust Wave is going to be able to find a lot of damage as well. Yeah,
definitely tanks going to be going down. The tanks pretty much kill each other here. Even with the extra DPS of the Locust. That base is going to be forfeit. The SCV is going to be going down. Reynor making some serious headway here, and it feels like we are starting to get that situation I was talking about with the Terran barricaded in their homes, fighting for their life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And the Banelings, they even crash into the Ghosts as well, taking some of them down. A Hellion Rame gets cleaned up by some Static Defense. The Spine Coolers were waiting for him, but we even take down and deny that engineering bay.
Yeah, actually quite a bit of frustration shown by Ryung in the camera there. I feel like he's not usually the one to react like that, but we do have some Swarmhosts being sniped down. Good little pickoffs, though.
Yeah, not a bad moment for Ryung, but again, he did lose an entire base. He's trying to expand towards the south, but there are already Nidus wounds up and running in that area, and it does feel like Reynor has finally found the damage that he's been looking for, and he's, yeah, containing Ryung here to 4 bases.
Yeah, this is suffocating. Reynor is everywhere, and Ryung had such a nice start to this game, and it's just not enough. It's gotta feel bad.
Yeah, as the tanks are going down as well to the biles, the Banelings find a lot of juicy connections on the Ghosts as well. They fall one after another. You can hear their screams as Ryung does force back the army. He even head tilted there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is pretty tilting. Like, if you can't win this game where you've gotten away with what he got away with, like, what are you gonna win? It feels pretty bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Swarm host did just get too much value over time. Reynor has had so much map control as well, just happily mining off of his 78 workers. And we can see that there's creep everywhere. Just Ryung, he can't expand.
Yeah, Reynor's just too fast, man. I mean, Ryung now getting pushed off of a 5th base, and this is how the Terran starves out. If you can't get that 5th secured, that's pretty much how you're going to die. And yeah, I feel like it can be hard on this map as well, just because he's spread pretty thin between all these bases. As Reynor crashes in once again, not the most efficient trades, but trades nonetheless.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be efficient. Not at this point, not with the bank that Reynor has, as he does take down another wave of those tanks. Ryung is going to force him back. We even have Queens spreading creep on the front lines as well, just making life so difficult for Ryung.
Yeah. I mean, we have some Ghosts, we have some Thors. I actually kind of wonder how effective the Ghosts have been in this situation. I feel like they end up just being very expensive for what kind of use they have here. They haven't been able to get too many snipes off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Reynor doesn't have a high-tech army, right? Like, what are we sniping, really? Like, a couple of Roaches and Ravagers, I guess. Maybe the Swarm Host, but they're not typically staying around for a fight either. So it doesn't feel like these Ghosts have been the most useful units for Ryung so far.
Yeah, I feel like if you're sniping Ravagers, it's worth it. And they're pretty good against Lings as well. But yeah, I don't know. In a battle of attrition like this, I feel like you don't want to be making such expensive units.
Yeah, exactly. As once again, the army rolls on forward. The Locust Wave is all backing it up. We get into the mineral line. SCVs are falling left and right. The Ghosts are splitting, and they're doing well for themselves, but we're just losing even more. We're bleeding out more.
Yeah, decent splits. The mines get cleaned up pretty cost effectively again for Reynor, and Ryung. He has dropped down to 65 workers here. He's struggling to put an army together.
Yeah, exactly. We can see him even trying to expand towards the north, but alas, there's creep there denying him. Snipes go from the Queens, which is Reynor. He's going to be able to take down at least some of these. But Reynor is remaxing with Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. The Fungal even connects with one of those Ghosts as well.
Yeah, I think we got one Queen there. We're going to lose every Ghost for the overextension as well, and I think this is pretty close to the end for Ryung.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's holding off for dear life. He's, juggling his heart out as well. With the Thor, it's living, Poppy. It's alive.
Oh boy, yeah, everything's on really low health here. I feel like one more wave from Reynor and Ryung's just going to be crushed, and he recognizes it as well. He is not happy with how this game is going.
Oh god, exactly. And I hope this doesn't affect him in game 2. It's a best of 2. This is merely game 1. GG gets called, and Reynor will take the first game in this Team League match.
Gee, nice game for Reynor, and nice office. Looks like he's playing in someone's office.
He's in someone's house, Papi. Do they know?
He just broke in to play some games.
Oh god. Am I crazy? Is Reynor, is he growing some facial hair, or was it just the webcam quality? It looked like he had like a little bit of fuzz going on. Maybe,
I don't know. I didn't see it. I know Dark had his beard tidied up a little bit. It was more of a goatee today.
Oh, nice. He groomed it, Papi. He groomed it. There you go. Okay.
Is that allowed? Do you reckon?
So he can get away with it. It's okay. You want him to look like homeless coming into like the IM Katowice World Finals, so he can like finally shave.
Well, like it has to be a punishment, It has to make him really want it.
Yeah, exactly.
If it gets so long that he can't leave the house, then he's just going to practice even more.
That's how you do it. That's how you get him to practice. Oh god, so far a solid start here from Reynor, and again, just for some context, I don't know how much emphasis we put on it, but both these teams have made it into the playoffs But we don't actually know who is going to be number 1 or number 2 after the end of the round robin group stage. It's going to be the winner of this series, either Onsyde or BASILISK.
Oh, okay, so that is for 1 and 2. Cool. Yeah, we did see DKZ took down the win pretty convincingly, but I guess that's not enough for them to get through, is that right? I mean, for them to be top 2.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Okay. Yeah, so for people who haven't watched too much World Team League or haven't seen the playoffs before, basically the way that it works is the top 7 teams go through, but they're kind of arranged into a gauntlet in order of that top 7. So if you come out first in the groups, you're actually straight to the grand final. And the 7th team has to play through everyone to get to the grand final.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's like a massive gauntlet, a gauntlet of matches that you have to work your way through, depending on how low in the rankings you are. So the better the seed, the better the standing, the less matches you have to play, the more time you have to rest, to chill, to watch some StarCraft, and to really enjoy yourself. So yeah, the standings actually are pretty impactful.
100%. But here we go. Spawning in at the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, this is Ryung.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the Italian Zerg, Reynor, for Team BASILISK.
You know what Neo Humanity's good for? Good for mech.
Yeah. They're all good for mech, Papi. I know.
I think this might be the only map that's good for like slow mech.
Yeah, I would. Probably, yeah. This is probably the best one, just because of all the choke points, how condensed all the bases are as well.
I think the other maps are actually really bad for slow mech, but slow mech's just bad. So
it won't stop Clem from trying. Let me tell you.
He loses.
He does. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's
bad.
Yeah, it won't stop him from trying though.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
As Ryung not going to be going for a CC first again, doesn't really want to test his luck on the short rush distance map.
Yeah, fair enough. He's going to go for a safer opener here with I say safer, a standard opener with that Rax Expand, going for the SCV Scout across the map as well. And how do you feel? What do you think Ryung's reaction is going to be here? Because sure, he can play mech, and he's already shown us mech, of course, but he can play bio. You know, he doesn't have to be that one-trick pony. He doesn't have to play mech all the time.
Yeah, you can definitely still play bio. I think it's going to be effective to still play a pretty campy style on this map. Just because, I don't know, at this level, a lot of the time when you're playing bio, you're split pushing, and it's very one-dimensional where you're going to be pushing on this map. You can't really be threatening any areas except the top and bottom around the watchtower. So it's pretty hard to get too much done.
Yeah, definitely. And because that, even if we do see bio tank, it would be, you know, where we just push out with drop play more than anything. We keep the tanks for the most part back at home, and we turtle on up. So we'll see what Ryung does decide to go for. For the time being, he's going to be dancing here with his Reaper, dancing with the Lings, and it does even force a Spore.
Yeah, he SEV blocked the third here, and because Reynor isn't trying to take the gold mineral third, Reynor has no option but to stay on 2 bases for a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to have to pump out a couple of extra queens, make some drones, and eventually he will expand. I believe he still isn't mining from those gold mineral patches, so yeah, he's very adamant about taking this triangular third.
Yeah, he is, and it's going to be pretty heavily punished. I mean, he does find this, he has to switch to a higher health drone as well, just to make sure that he can get this. Ryung's done a really good job just delaying this for so long, and looks like nothing weird going to be coming out from Reynor as a result. The only thing is that he has his link speed maybe just a tiny bit earlier, but I think all in all, kind of a lead for Ryung, and Ryung just playing a standard 3cc opener.
Yeah, 3cc into Banshee play. The starport is in production, the tech lab as well for that add-on swap, I imagine. And the Reaper is diving into said main base. Interesting building placement as well. Ryung actually trying to hide his opener.
Yeah, I think after the build that he played last time, hiding the buildings is going to be very nice, just because you can put in the head of Reynor that you might be going for a 2-fac, like a blue flame or something like that. But yeah, it is just going to be Banshees.
There we go. Cloak Banshees on the way for Ryung. And his opponent, Reynor, actually threw down a pretty early Roach Warren. That was like a 3-minute 40 Roach Warren from Reynor. Far earlier than than even the last game.
Yeah. Once again, I get the feeling it's for safety, and maybe he just had a bit of extra money from the late third. But yeah, this makes a lot more sense to me on this map as well. I feel like regardless of what you're playing against, a safe roach opener is going to be fantastic on this map, just because there's really not that many angles that Bio can come in from, so it's not that easy to abuse roaches.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, roaches are not the most mobile units, but as you mentioned, because of this map especially, or specifically, it's kind of difficult, or it's easier to kind of keep up with the movements of your opponent. As 6-7 roaches are on the way, we're committing a little bit harder as we are going in towards that lair, and oh my god, that's crazy.
He thought about going for
Speed
for a second there. Might have been thinking about a queen drop build, but I guess he wants to confirm whether it's going to be bio or mech first. Ryung actually going for a very greedy form of mech, going to be getting his armories first. I can't say that I've seen this too much.
Yeah, double armory before factory. This is like a Quanta style of mech. This is
Oh yeah, true. I forgot he does this.
Yeah, he's the only one. He's, well, I guess maybe not now the second, as Ryung is just throwing down additional factories as well. I guess it makes sense, especially if you plan to be very turtly and very defensive. Yeah, really, really greedy.
Yeah, I suppose so. Upgrade's going to be started up straight away, so I think usually the goal of this is to have a bit of a faster 2-2 timing. I find it a bit weird. I feel like I've seen Maru do it before as well, but it never seems to be that impactful. I feel like with mech, getting those first few tanks out at a good time is such a big deal. But anyway, we are going to be having Ryung bouncing between the bases, trying to get a little bit of damage with these Banshees.
Yeah, he gets 4 drone kills. He's forcing a reaction out of Reynor. He's keeping him busy back at home, but no, the roaches are across the map instead. And we were talking about it, because we did prioritize those armories, it does mean that we do have less tanks. It does mean that we have less cyclones, and these roaches are going to trade pretty well.
Roach is going to be looking around for some pickoffs. They pick off 2 of those Hellions. Still only Hellions being made from Ryung, but I do think that one nice thing that this little Roach poke does is it might bring the Banshees home.
Yeah, the Banshees do turn back around. This will give Reynor some more breathing room as he gets his 4th base, soon 5th base up and running as well. He's working towards the infestation bit, towards Hive Tech. I'm curious if he wants to try to make those swarmers work again, as the wall is not a wall.
Yeah, the wall doesn't work out this time, so Ryung is going to be able to charge into the main. Would have liked to see him maybe split off a couple of those Hellions into the natural here, but Reynor going for a fast wall here and blocks the rest out with the last couple drones and roaches, so crisis averted. Beautiful stuff from Reynor. Only a few drones going to be going down here.
Yeah, exactly. Only 4 drones. This could have been so much worse, but the positioning, the army movements, the wall off as well, all just came to fruition, and yeah, Ryung gets cleaned up. We're back at home. He is commencing his tank production.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible, honestly, for Ryung. So he's in a rough spot now. We do have that 4CC coming up. We have the tanks being assembled as well. But I honestly think that Reynor could think about going for Queen Drop or something like that here. It looks like instead, actually, going to be going very fast into Aspire and Hive. Are you feeling the Broodlords here?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely could head in that direction, especially with how it's lined up. The Spire will finish by the time the Hive finishes as well, and there's no reason not to switch into Broodlords right now. Like, there's very limited anti-air. There are no Thors, and after losing all those Hellions, the likelihood of Ryung pushing out is pretty low.
Yeah, this is a timing that I saw players doing this quite a bit on Waterfall as well. Specifically against mech, you can go for an early Broodlord timing. I believe it's 9 or 12. I can't remember exactly how many it is, but you can just get a bunch of Broodlords out really early, and you're not really intending to go into Broodlord Infestor. It's just kind of a kind of gotcha moment where you can take out a bunch of tanks, and then from there you can switch into something else.
Yeah, exactly, and oh boy, we'll see if he's able to hit that timing, as the Greater Spire is in production. Second Spire as well for double upgrades as well for Reynor, so he's going to be going for a heavy Broodlord switch, heavy Broodlord transition. But as he does that, Ryung is actually already working on Thors and Vikings.
Yeah, we've got some Thors and Vikings coming out. I feel like the Vikings might be more for dealing with Vipers potentially, and Thors, I'm pretty sure he got those around the same time last time as well. I guess it's also possible that he got a scout on this. I mean, he's got to realize that Reynor's playing pretty passive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's got to recognize, like, the lack of the Roach Ravager, to be fair. The Banshee's moving on forward as well. They do go for the Infestor.
Great pick off there. That's so valuable. As, yeah, we see the 9 Corruptors fired up, so I guess it's 9, not 12. There you go.
There you go. 9 at least for now. We'll see if he invests into any more, or if he's just going for those Broodlords, and it looks like that's what he's working towards. We have Pathogen Glands all the way for the Infestors. But again, Ryung is going to have quite a bit of anti-air available to him. God, that is a lot of Thors. He's producing 4 Thors at a time.
Yeah, looks like he's actually anticipating what's happening here really well. This Broodlord's going to be morphed pretty far back, but wow, the scan, he sees the Greater Spire, he knows what he needs to know, and he can continue to pump out Vikings now as well.
He knows what he knows, he knows what he doesn't as well, and with that, he's just focusing on pure anti-air. The Banshee's even finding a little bit of value off towards the side of the map as well, just cleaning up creep, cleaning up those roaches. And we'll see how much anti-air we have at the time for that push. We actually haven't seen the main army of Ryung in quite some time. I don't actually know how many Thors he has available right now.
Yeah, but the Hellions going to be getting in. They're going to be getting some solid damage. Once again, Reynor doesn't want to make things worse by trying to move them too much. I do think Ryung, maybe could have fully committed there and gotten a few more drones rather than trying to get out and losing most of them on the way out anyway. But here we go. The Broodlords are here. Reynor a little bit apprehensive about committing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't want to overextend against all these Thors and Vikings. I don't blame him, as Ryung is going to be pushing on forward first. Going to be laying siege upon that line of spines of Spores as well.
Yeah, and Reynor being very safe. He's just going to try to take out a few of those units, take out the Hellbats at the front, maybe get a bit of friendly fire from the tanks going as well. And as you were saying, big line of static defense coming up.
Yeah, exactly. 3-3s on the way for Ryung. A bit of a Roach counterattack, going to try and pull his attention back home, and it will bring back some of those Thors. It does expose the tanks.
Yeah, great move. Reynor just making use of his superior multitasking to get some damage here, and he completely thwarts the push of Ryung. This is so nicely done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, the Thor's having a hard time keeping up their worldling. They're so slow. The Roaches make it all the way into the main base, and again, this is giving Reynor so much more time to build up the Infestor count, the Viper count, the Broodlord count as well.
Yeah, and Reynor scouts the Raxes as well, so he's going to know about the Ghost Switch.
Yeah, when knowing that, of course, it's going to come down to his Infestors to try to lock them down if possible. More Broodlords are in production, 4 more on the way. Ryung, once he finally cleans this up, he wants to be active, he wants to push out, actually pushing out on the left-hand side instead.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think this is a good choice, but clearly Reynor wanted to get rid of those Roaches because he's going to be going fully now into that Broodlord Infestor composition.
Yeah, exactly. Just needs to free up all that supply. He's going to be losing a hatchery, but he got 14 SCVs across the map. Oh my god. Those Roaches doing so well for Reynor. At least Ryung has been able to expand, though. He's expanding towards the top right-hand corner of the map, and it's not really being contested. So unlike the previous game, he's not being starved out.
Yeah, and those SCVs probably not going to be remade either, so not the biggest deal, as I say, that he fires up a few more. 3-3 is on the way. We had that Ghost transition on the way as well. Potentially with 3-3, we can start to push. 3-3 Thors are pretty terrifying, and Neural is still a tiny ways off. Boy, I like that he's trading out some tanks as well now that the Roaches have been lost.
Definitely. The tanks don't really have too much of a role here against this kind of army, so we're going to be going for a bit of a tank run by. Likewise, the Banshees also find the top right-hand base. So yeah, Ryung actually finding quite a bit of damage here as he goes for a counterattack. Meanwhile, the Broodlords are being caught out.
Yeah, massive anti-armor missile paints all of those Broodlords. We have some of those Vikings as well just being affected by the parasitic bomb, but they won't go down just yet. Bit of an awkward angle. This is also why we see Broodlords a lot with the speed buff that they've gotten recently, and a map like this where there's a lot of dead airspace to abuse. They can be extremely difficult to get a good fight against.
Yeah, exactly. They just dance here with the terrain, and they're able to avoid those Thors, but at the same time, the tanks actually get a base on the left-hand side of the map. They're getting so much value. Likewise, the Banshees are still going ham on the hatchery towards the right.
Yeah, these were units that Ryung just wanted to trade off, and he's going to be getting a really good amount of damage for them.
Yeah, exactly. He may even just barely get 2 of those hatcheries. Meanwhile, more ghosts are on the way. Hellions and Hellbats as well to help deal with all those broodlings. Oh boy, and Ryung, he's actually faring far better here in game 2 against Reynor, but at the same time, this will still come down to one big fight. This still will come down to the big engagement.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried. This is, I guess, one of the gripes I have with this map's design in particular as well. Neither player should really fully commit to an attack. It's kind of what we saw with Spirit vs. Reynor on this map as well, where it is going to be hard to decide to fully commit. Looks like Ryung doesn't like the look of this fight, though. He doesn't want to get all his Thors neural, so he's going to be backing up and giving up that front base.
Yeah, it does a bit of a misrally, though. It does lose a ghost for free as well. Could even lose the second ghost as well. The planetary is under threat at the same time. A Hellbat push is going to be threatening some of the mining bases of Reynor as well. As Ryung is setting up a concave, he's looking for a bit of a better fight.
Looks like Ryung doesn't have any tanks at all, which I'm not sure I agree with. I feel like it's kind of hard to deal with the infestors if you don't have at least 1 or 2 tanks just to zone them out a bit.
Yeah, it's a really risky move to go for because that just means that he's heavily reliant on the ghosts to like connect with their EMPs, which is going to be difficult to do, especially when dealing and dancing with all those broodlords as well. So yeah, we'll see if that does come back to bite him.
Yeah, as we see 2 edge bases going down, almost a third here. So Ryung getting some good counter damage, and his bank is looking really solid too. Both players, to be fair, having a pretty strong bank, but gas bank for Terran is pretty scary. They definitely don't take as long to chew through it. I mean, they take a lot longer to chew through it than Zerg does.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my god, we even have some ghosts, some nukes on the way for those ghosts. 2 more Ghost Academy as well, just to pump out as many nukes as we can. That will be a great way to zone away the army, to actually create a path for the mech army to push on through. And yeah, Reynor's been having a hard time. Kind of like how you were saying, how Ryung doesn't have any tanks to support his army. Likewise, Reynor just now makes a Roach army to try and deal with all these counterattacks.
Yeah, looks like the Roaches will be the force to deal with the run-bys, and that's going to stop little groups of Hellbats and tanks from taking out bases like this, but still a lot of mining being denied, and we have that north base being denied as well.
Yeah, exactly. Forcing the Broodlords to respond. And again, this is a pretty big commitment, a big supply commitment for Reynor to go into all of these Roaches, to go and deal with all these counterattacks. He's busy back at home cleaning up these run-bys, and yeah, he's allowing these nukes to finish.
Gee, we're only 17 minutes into this game. It feels like it's been a lot longer.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, there just hasn't been any kind of these big moments, right? It's like we've been seeing some run-bys, a little bit harassed here and there, but no major engagements yet. As I say that though, Ryung is pushing out through the left-hand side.
Yeah, Ryung does see that those units have been committed, the Corruptors have been committed, and he wants to stop this base from getting up. I mean, that would be huge, but the army is here to respond, so I like that he's backing off.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we have a nuke over on the right-hand side, just going to be punishing that base and slowing it down. And yeah, this second nuke should be able to get a kill on that hatchery. Meanwhile, the Broodlords, the Corruptors also did bring down that planetary. So both players have been, trading bases.
Oh, bit of a cheeky nuke here. He's going to be trying to open up an attack angle on this center base.
Yeah, it is going to be spotted, but the creep is being cleaned up. We are just gaining ground here. The creep is receding from the side of Reynor, and Ryung is unlocking some of these southern bases.
Yeah, more racks is going down as well. Interesting. So he really does want to have that full ghost production available. Nice little Ling Roach run by here from Reynor. He's going to be denying this base's mining.
Yeah, he's going to force the army to rotate around. Meanwhile, we do go for the neural on the ghost. We go for the EMP.
Oh, the reactions were so fast, though. That really didn't get too much done. And Ryung already had his ghosts pretty nicely spread out, but he loses the base to the north.
Oh my god, he does lose the base. Nuke will connect only on 2 queens, but feels queen, man. And the EMP, as you were saying, it only connected with 2 ghosts. Like, thankfully, Ryung wasn't quite condensed there, like I'm sure Reynor was hoping for. But Ryung does lose a base.
Yeah, that's right. So both players kind of trading out bases here. Ryung was doing a good job of being ahead of those trades, trading 2 for 1, that sort of thing. I don't think trading bases 1 for 1 is going to be something he's going to be too happy about, but we do see that nuke getting denied. I think the ghost was just in range of the spore there, and yeah, Ryung just looking to get those extra orbitals as well. Once he has enough of those, he can start to get rid of his SCVs.
Yeah, and this time he was able to keep up with the Ling Roach rotation as well, so he's not going to be losing too much here. He should be able to save his bottom left-hand CC. Meanwhile, the Ghost rotated over towards the right-hand side. We have nukes all over the place, but we have detection as well.
Yeah, Reynor on top of it, but we are kind of putting on a little bit of a masterclass of late game here, where he is getting quite a lot done, maybe trying to drag Reynor into some waters where potentially some of his skills won't be as important in terms of that multitasking and aggression. Ryung is, you have to really respect it, is such a veteran of the game. He's dragging this game into somewhere where he's more of an expert.
Yeah, exactly. He's just trying to slow the game down, make it more positional oriented instead. Likewise, we have a Ling counterattack, but the Hellions are in the area. We're able to deflect that. Reynor aggressively expanding, double expanding, looking to take one of Ryung's bases.
Yeah, I really like it. If he can start to make it so that Ryung, rather than fighting to set up these bases, is fighting to keep Reynor off those bases, obviously that's going to be a lot better. As we do have Hellbats kind of pushing through here. Maybe they can take out some of the static. Reynor basically doing the same thing with the Ling Roach. We can see, despite that speed buff for the Broodlords, they are still pretty slow to get around, but I am really worried for Ryung at how large these Broodlord numbers are getting to. Once you get up to like 30 Broodlords, that becomes an almost unbeatable army.
Yeah, exactly, as that Broodlord count is insane. Meanwhile, the Hellbats actually make it into the mineral line. They're going to be able to take down a lot of these workers here on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, the main army of Ryung rotates over, and these fresh mining bases are going to be denied here. Ryung just on top of everything so far, able to shut down these bases. But as you were saying, we still haven't seen that big clash, and that's a lot of Broodlords. 25 Broodlords, my god.
Yeah, I really think on this map, just because you have to go through a narrow area to get to the open area, there's just never really going to be either side wanting to initiate the fight. Probably just going to be having fights to deny bases. Good fungal though, so we can pick off a couple Thors potentially.
Yeah, a couple of Ghosts as well. We have the Blinding Cloud combo as well, so the Thors are going to have a hard time turning back around, but here we go. The Ghosts push on forward. They're going to get some snipes off.
Yeah, a little bit of damage going down. Looks like we do get a bit of a cancel there in time. One Mr. Allied Infestor is going to be going down.
Yeah, we have a nuke towards the center of the map. We have a Thor run by as well, just focusing down that hatchery. Alas, the hatchery will survive, thankfully. Meanwhile, do we have the fungal? Up, we do.
Yeah, good fungal, so that Ghost will not be getting that nuke off.
Nuke will be denied. Reynor looking to expand over towards the left-hand side instead. Looks like we're looking for a bit of an EMP drop, and he sees the Ghost. Sorry, he sees the Infestors. Oof.
Yeah, I like it. Very cute stuff there, but God, there's so many Broodlords. I mean, it's really hard to get together an army that can fight this at all, and I feel like there's a couple elements missing for Ryung. I noticed he doesn't have any Liberators with this.
Yeah, no Liberators either. Good EMP on the majority of those Infestors, though, and we do manage to just dive on this army. A massive anti-armor missile as well, and Reynor's got to be careful. Yeah,
Reynor does not want to take a fight right now. He really needs to get out of there. He can force these swords through a choke here, which is not ideal for Ryung. Man, those Blue Flame Hellbats actually shredded these Broodlings.
Oh, but the Fungals and the Blinding Clouds, the Thors, they just cannot fight this army. Not within the Blinding Clouds. Is being forced back once again. Reynor not taking a too bad of a fight here as he just pushes on forward.
Yeah, there's just so many Broodlords, and those Broodlings really messing with the AI on the Thors.
They really are. I mean, it looks like 7 or 8 Broodlords did go down amidst all that chaos, so not a bad trade, but we also lost a lot of Ghosts in the process as well. Ryung has to back off and lick his wounds.
Yeah, the trades have been much better for Reynor so far, as we could see though.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, so we have a couple more nukes being thrown down, but so far the nukes haven't really been connecting. They haven't really been landing here, but did I speak too soon? Can he find it? Oh, Reynor, he sees it.
Yeah, he's going to lose his base. So good damage there for Ryung.
Hatchery does go down. Meanwhile, Ryung just happily mining from those southern bases, just rebuilding, remaxing, still working on just pure Thor Ghosts for the time being. A couple of Hellbats sprinkled in. We can see he's going to be able to, again, harass some of these other fringe bases as well.
Yeah, he's been really diligent about constantly sending out these Hellbat hit squads, and it's done such a good job of keeping Reynor in check.
Oh yeah, it really has. Reynor just hasn't been able to hold on to these bases at all. He's been expanding and taking hatcheries, but mining from them not so much. And that's going to be a little bit dangerous here, as we do see Ryung, actually has been, because the trades have been so well for Reynor, Ryung doesn't really have a gas bank anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't. We see him as well throwing down some extra starports. I wonder if he's considering even like a BC transition or something like that. Sounds kind of crazy. I'm not really sure what his plans are that way, but massive Hellbat run by coming in here. He wants to make the most of his minerals, and he's going to be getting a good amount of drones, but I don't think Reynor's going to care too much. He has a healthy bank.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, workers are not the most impactful unit here. Not anymore. Reynor is down to 30 workers. He's focusing on his main push. He actually made a massive wave of banelings. Oh my god.
Yeah, very interesting. Maybe recognizing that there's just no tanks and no mines, nothing like that on the ground. It's just a handful of Hellbats and a handful of ghosts. So I think he has found an opening though.
Yeah, at the same time, the Hellions, they dive into the main base and the natural as well. They're going to be wreaking havoc. They're going to be potentially taking down some of the tech, but that may not matter because the main army of Reynor is still looking very strong. He's working his way into Ryung's half of the map, taking down not too much impactful buildings, but it looks like the Greater Spire fell.
Yeah, the Hellbat's getting some serious damage here, but I really like the way that Reynor's doing this, is just keeping those Banes and Infestors sat back here so that the Broodlords can never be jumped on.
Exactly, they are going to be safe, and they just pick off base after base, CC after CC, and Ryung just can't do anything about it. He throws down a couple of zoning nukes, which do force back the army, but for the most part, Reynor's fine.
Yeah, it feels like desperation. Really. No, not like this. Oh, all the banelings like that, and in the end, I don't think it's game losing for Reynor, but it's pretty brutal.
Oh my god, banelings go down, Infestors, massive EMPs go off as well on every single one of those Infestors. We do see the army pushing on forward. The Blinding Cloud comes in.
Yeah, good Blinding Cloud there. The Thors are going to try to work their way around the outside. Good Neurals as well. Three Thors taken out of the fight. The Baneling's doing some crazy damage as well. Man, this fight was so one-sided in the end.
Oh my god, yeah, it looks like the Thors get annihilated. Reynor is still able to just bring it all back together despite taking a nuke to the face. A couple of Infestors with energy was all he needed. Across the map, yeah, the Hellbats are being cleaned up, and we're just remaxing on Roaches.
Yeah, looks like Roaches are going to be the way to finish the job, and we do see 14 Thors here, but yeah, I think Roaches and Banes, that's going to be the ticket here. He's just going to completely overpower however many Thors Ryung can get out here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is also because, remember, the Greater Spire died, and I don't think we rebuilt the Greater Spire, so we actually can't make any more Broodlords. But here we go. The Ravagers are arriving, the Lings as well. Ryung, what does he have left? He has a lot of minerals to work with, but he is out of gas.
Yeah, the Vikings are doing what they can. There's not much in the sky to contest them, but the Ravagers and Banelings just going to be crashing on through. We see a good amount of Broodlings just being split off to force these units to at least not move forward on Reynor. I do feel like Ryung still has a pretty decent army. Reynor has to be careful how he's going to do this.
Yeah, he may be overextending. He's pushing into a concave, into a lot of Thors, into a lot of Hellbats and Vikings as well. The anti-armor missile is about to run out though, but Reynor, he's hurting right now. Like, his army is so battered, so bruised.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to run off here. He has to be very careful that he doesn't lose all of these Broodlords, and I think he might just lose every single one of them.
Mate, the hero Vikings. 3 Vikings is all you need as they take down every single Broodlord. We mentioned it earlier, but there was no Greater Spire, or it hasn't been rebuilt, so we have no more Broodlords.
Wow, this game still hangs in the balance. That was a terrifying sequence for Ryung, but he is not out of this.
Yeah, exactly. He is still in this fight. He still has a decent amount of mining bases. He's looking to try and expand though. Reynor actually taking control of the right-hand side, is actually mining quite well for himself, but there we go. A couple of Hellions are headed in that direction.
Yeah, the tanks are back. Fantastic addition here for Ryung. It's going to make it difficult for this Bane Ravager to get quite as much damage here. I think he might produce a couple more tanks than that as well, as we do see massive roasting of the drones, and Reynor's suddenly in some real trouble. He has no bank and he only has 25 drones.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Ryung, he doesn't have any gas. Reynor, he doesn't have minerals or gas right now. He has nothing left. Corruptors go for a bit of a run by. They're going to be able to take down one of the planetaries, but likewise, Reynor is also losing some more important, crucial mining bases.
Yeah, one thing that's really huge for Ryung, I don't really know how it's worked out this way, but his center base actually still has a lot of resources on it. So he is going to be in a good spot just because his most defensible base is still full of resources. And I mean, Reynor's mined his out.
Yeah, Reynor, he is starving out right now. He barely has any mineral patches left on his side of the map. He has top right, and that's kind of it right now. And Ryung, he's remaxing, he's rebuilding, he's looking pretty damn good. Oh, but we have a Greater Spire.
Feeling really good for Ryung. He has a fantastic gas income. I don't like the Greater Spire here just because I don't think that there's going to be enough gas to get Broodlords. I mean, Reynor's not mining any gas right now. That top right-hand base that's being harassed by the Hellbats, that's the only gas mining he has right now.
It really is. And as the observer is pointing out, we have Mass Infestor, and that's going to be the way here for Ryung to win this game, is to, I imagine, take control of these Thors, take control of the army of Ryung. Massive Hellbat drop in towards the top right-hand base. No mining whatsoever. He's coming in for the Neurals.
Yeah, here he is. Where are the EMPs? The EMPs is just not enough. There's too many infestors. Ryung has to back away from this. The tanks are still here. We have the scan as well, so they can try to focus those down, but there might just be too much from here. Reynor effectively all in with this attack. This is insane. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, exactly. But he has to make this work. And you know what? He's chewing through those Thors. There's only 2 Thors remaining. The Ghosts are looking for the EMPs. Up! And he gets them.
Yeah, some EMPs going down. There's still a few infestors with energy, but really not many. I'm not sure if Ryung has the kind of army where he can push the issue, but he just needs to survive because he's got the income. Reynor doesn't. Reynor has 0 gas coming in right now.
Yeah, the problem is that Ryung is mainly with a Heli and Hellbat army. Likewise, he hasn't been producing too many gas units right now. He doesn't have any tanks remaining. He has only a handful of Thor's nuke. Going to be zoning the army back, but Ryung likewise needs gas.
Yeah, Reynor misses the bile there on that Ghost, so he is going to be pushed back. I do worry, though, for Ryung. The longer that he leaves this, the more time these infestors have to build back up their energy, and that's such a massive window that he has right now.
Yeah, it really is, as Ryung is going for another Hellbat drop towards the mining base, once again denying more mining here of Reynor. Forcing his entire army to react, forcing him back home, to be fair, giving Ryung a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor is completely broke right now. These kind of harassing attacks on the drones here are going to be so valuable for Ryung right now.
They really are, but the drop does go down. Ravager army tries to get a couple piles off, does take down a Thor.
Yeah, nice snipe there. Full Thor going down. We can see that the resources lost pretty much evened up at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It is evened up. The left-hand base is still not mining, by the way. The base where there's creeping spread by that one Overlord. Ryung was desperately trying to expand there earlier. Hopefully he can deal with that Overlord so he can actually take that base. But we'll see if that does actually come into play.
To be fair, I don't think he mines as long as Reynor doesn't get it. He still has pretty healthy mining. It's just about denying this top right base for Reynor. That's the only base, I believe, that he has fully mining.
Yeah, it is the only one. I mean, he's expanding on the right-hand side. It looks like he's saturating that base as we speak. The Ravager army, almost a pure Ravager army, looking for a way and looking for some of those snipes. As Reynor, he's going to be able to mine that base.
Good patience, though, coming out from Ryung. He is going to be trying to deny the left-hand side here and making a slow push up on the right. I do think this is the way to go. He does have a Raven here as well, so hopefully he's going to be able to spot out those infestors before too much damage can be done.
Yeah, hopefully the infestors are looking for their opportunity. Meanwhile, Broodlords have been rebuilt. We do have 2 Broodlords now available for Reynor. He actually means that he has no more Corruptors. That was his last Corruptors morphed into those Broodlords. He actually takes control of the Viking as well.
Oh, he lands it so he can kill it. That's very cute. Am I going to be having a little red tromba on the left? I don't think it's going to be able to get too much done just because there is a blocking PF, but it does mean that he can prevent any damage. Oh, we have the Ghosts dropping on in. He wants to get the EMPs on the infestors. Good split from Reynor, but about half of them have been EMP'd.
Yeah, was that worth it though? Because we did lose 4 Ghosts to make that happen. That was an expensive drop from Ryung, but he pushes on through. He takes down the base, and he wants more than just that. He's looking to keep on pushing forward. There are only 2 Broodlords, and again, barely any energy for Fungals or even Abductions. Abductions? Neurals, that's it.
Yeah. Ryung has to be really careful how he does this. If he pushes up to the right here, he's going to be fully committed. So I don't think he wants to do that right now. He probably just wants to push a bit more safely on this left-hand side through where the Xel'Naga tower is.
Yes, he is attempting to actually expand and take that base, but we have a massive Roach army. The drones! No, they bunch up and the middle line goes down. A lot of drones do fall. Not the most important loss here for Reynor, but a loss nonetheless, as 15 drones do go down.
Yeah, the trap was set by Ryung and sprung. Reynor gonna have to remake those drones when he's starving for minerals, so only 35 drones for him, and they have to get him the money that he needs to see out this game.
Another massive EMP again, getting the majority of those infestors. A couple of them do survive, a couple of them do manage to be further back, so there is energy for those fungals, but regardless, good EMPs.
Those EMPs were huge. I mean, Ryung has been so patient in this late game, and I think this might be the moment that he's been looking for.
Oh, and here we go. He's trying to push his way forward. Biles will be connecting. One ghost does go down, but the tanks are slow pushing. Fungals are going to try and slow this down, but the tanks are in range.
Yeah, he's going to get the deny on this base. This is huge for Ryung. Luckily for Reynor, he does get that base up on the left-hand side before this happens, so he isn't going to be completely losing his income just yet.
Yeah, not just yet, but another base does go down. Reynor not mining any gas on this left-hand side either, unfortunately, and Ryung is actually already dealing with this. He already has tanks within range.
Yeah, the tanks are creeping up. If those tanks can get in range while he's still threatening on the right-hand side, such that Reynor can't really commit too much here, that's going to be amazing. I feel like Reynor might want to send the Broodlords over to this side.
Yeah, maybe worth it, but he only has 3 Broodlords. Does he really want to commit them to preserving this base? And that means that the main army will have free reign. A lot of supplies actually being sent on over, and Reynor is trickling in. He's losing too much.
Yeah, those Lings were meant to clean up the tanks, but the Lings just get absolutely blasted. 3 tanks going to be going down, but now Ryung has all of the options in his hands. Reynor being forced to divert a lot of his army defensively, and that gives Ryung the choice of what he wants to do next, whether he wants to push in the right side, push in the left side. I really like this position for him. I think he can set up in an area here where he can go for a game-ending fight.
Yeah, exactly. Ryung, he rotates over towards the last mining base of Reynor. The ghosts are looking for the EMPs. He's looking to dive on top of those infestors at any moment, and the tanks are just pulling back the army. He's doing it.
This is an incredible position for Ryung. He's going to take down the last mining base of Reynor. I think he is doing it. The supply for Reynor in the absolute dumps. His hands are off the keyboard. This is incredible late game prowess from Ryung, dragging Reynor into the one area of the game where he has the advantage.
Exactly. Remember when he beat Dark? Always never forget, Papi, never forget. Here we go. Reynor, going for one final fight. The MPs blanket every single one of those infestors. GG gets called, and Ryung takes game number 2.
GG, what a game from Ryung. The tuna wiping some of that dryness from his eyes, but he is showing here that that class is permanent.
GG, well played. Ryung fighting back here, taking down Reynor, an S-tier player. Next week, he's going to be knocked down a couple of notches. He's going to watch the W admins just make it B tier. Aye. But GG, very well done by Ryung. I'm sure he wanted a little bit more out of himself in game 1, but on a map like Near Humanity, which does favor his style of play, which does give him a bit of a boost, he was able to overcome Reynor. Despite some pretty rough moments, there were some moments where we thought, mate, Reynor, he's got this in the bag. Reynor was snowballing out of control.
It really was looking that way, but incredible late game from Ryung, an absolute masterclass. On a map, to be fair, where it is definitely a little bit more of a favored way to play, but he was up against it there. It was so impressive how patient he was throughout. Even when he EMP'd every infestor, he didn't force the issue, but here we go. We're going to be having a very different pace of matchup. It's going to be Maru against Trigger.
Let's go. We have a TVP before us. Maru versus Trigger. Trigger being done dirty. C tier 63 points. Nah, mate. Trigger deserves more than that. He's been doing so well for himself, especially in these online tournaments, these online leagues. But he's up against an S tier player. He's up against the best Terran in the world. It's still going to be an uphill battle here for Trigger.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not as they're not as far apart from each other as these scores would lead you to believe. Trigger's a very strong player. I would definitely put him in the mid-70s, especially these days. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where a player is at when they're improving as fast as Trigger is.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He has been improving so much. He's been just achieving so much in his career, despite it not being the longest one, despite him being a newer face to the scene. He has been excelling so much, but against Maru, I hope he's able to really display that. I hope he's able to make Maru work for it, even take a map, even take a series. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be starting things off on Grassvan. So this is a map where I feel like it does favor the player who's going to be more comfortable into the mid to late game. But Trigger kind of plays in a way that I think suits this map very well. Trigger likes to delay his upgrades and delay his eco to get a very large army and a very strong Colossus timing. And I think that is a style that is a bit more favored on this map.
Yeah, I think so as well. So, yeah, the stars are aligning here for Trigger to kind of make use of this map, make use of his style of play, and go up against Maru. But Maru is such an unpredictable player, and here he is in the top left-hand corner of Grassvan for Onsyde Gaming. It is Maru.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of the map for Basilisk, this is Trigger.
Boy, here we go. It is the early mornings in the land of Canada. You can see the sun rising in the background. And I'm sure Trigger, he woke up in time for this and didn't stay up all night.
Oh, yeah, true. I mean, he has been traveling. That's usually a good time to fix your sleep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he slept because he messaged us earlier about the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. He said that he couldn't quite make it. I like to believe it was because he wanted to sleep early and fix his schedule for this, because this is a pretty important match. I like to believe.
True. Yeah, definitely. As we do see Maru, he is going to be going for a gas first opener here. So there's a few different options you can go for when you play gas first in TVP. Often it's going to be for, well, it's for a fast factory, but that can be either for an early Cyclone push, or it can be for some very fast Hellions.
Oh, exactly. And we'll see if he is going to be for those Hellions. Meanwhile, once again, Maru, he started doing this last week. He's wearing his GSL pins.
Oh. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know why he started flexing with them, but starting last week, it's I think it's not just his GSL pins. I want to say maybe a Pro League pin as well, from when Jinair competed in Pro League. So yeah, Maru just flexing a little bit, repping.
Yeah, going to be getting that CC on the high ground as well. This is something that we see both Maru and Beyond doing a lot in TVP. Just to play a little bit of a mind game on their opponent. It also means that he can go Reaper Reactor without worrying too much about the building being denied by an Adept.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see him just making sure that there's nothing to stop him, nothing to scout him, nothing crazy going on from the side of Trigger either with that Reaper movement. First Adept is going to be zooming across the map, looking for that delay, as you were saying, as, Trigger is going for a Twilight Council opener.
Yeah, pretty late Twilight Council as well. Is being very safe, going for that double chrono on the unit. So prioritizing pretty heavily, getting that Stalker out in time for the Reaper while also being able to send the Adept across the map. Bit of a stylistic choice coming out from him there. Meanwhile, for Maru, despite the gas first, it's a pretty standard looking opener.
Yeah, nothing too crazy so far. We have the Starport on the way. Widow Mines as well. Could be setting up for a bit of a drop momentarily. And from here, Trigger should be working towards a Blink. It is something that we've been seeing a little bit more from him. A little bit less so of the kind of a Phoenix Colossus kind of player.
Yeah, I think Trigger almost always plays Twilight, actually.
Yeah.
Usually going to be a 2-gate Blink into pretty quick 3-base setup, and then the more aggressive style on 3 bases. I think it's just it's a very solid way to play. Maru going to be getting a scout. At least a Blink is being researched, so he can feel a little bit less worried about DTs or anything like that.
Yeah, there you go. It does confirm all of that with that Reaper and is able to safely expand back at home. Medevac is on the way for the drop, and Trigger is looking to establish that third base. We're talking about it. Only 2 gateways are thrown down for Trigger, so it's going to be a very economic opener of this Twilight Council.
Yeah, they're just going to be coming in to get some harassed on Maru. A bit too fast for that, does shoo it away. Meanwhile, we do have that drop headed out across the map. So I think this is a little bit on the faster side, and that's, I guess, what the gas first does allow him to have. But apart from that, we're not seeing really all that much being got from that gas first. It's not like he's gone for an armory or anything like that. So a bit of a curious choice by Maru overall.
Yeah, an interesting adaptation, which maybe opens things up, but did just go for a standard mine drop timing. In the end, we do react in time, we do pull the workers away, and one of them does go into the gas geyser.
Yeah, very tidy pull from Trigger.
Yeah, only losing one probe, right? Only losing one probe to the 3 mines. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. But that much mining time for only losing 1 mine, actually worth it there for Maru. So he's not going to be too unhappy with that. I guess this is why Protoss players complain about mine drops. I think he's actually ahead from that. But we do see another slight supply block from Maru. So not the cleanest game for him so far.
Yeah, exactly. As the mine, as you mentioned, is still alive here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, so Maru is looking for another avenue of attack. If he creates it for himself, Raven head towards the natural base to try to pull apart Trigger. The multi-pronged aggression is soon to be upon us, as Trigger is ramping up towards his bay, towards his Colossi.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, Maru behind this, he's going to be throwing down a few extra racks, as I'm not sure if he's gone for a 3rd base yet. He might just be going for a 2-base all-in here.
Yeah, I don't believe I've seen a 3rd CC yet. So, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it is setting up for a 2-base all-in. Before that does occur, Maru, he's looking to harass. Here we go. The Raven dives in towards the natural base. Probes are going to be going down. A bit of a delayed reaction out of Trigger, as the mines are even potentially going to be looking to go in.
Yeah, no battery or cannon here, so this is extremely annoying for Trigger to deal with. He is going to be going into the Colossus behind this, has to warp in a couple extra Stalkers to help deal with this. At the same time, Mine going to be going in. Looks like he doesn't notice this. These are going to hit huge.
Oh my god, massive connections. 11 probes go down, a delayed reaction out of Trigger, and his economy isn't going to be crippled. It is going to be slowed down. Behind this, Maru just ramping things up. Stim at +1, combat shields all on the way. Still no 3rd CC.
Yeah, that is devastating for Trigger. He did such a good job up until that point, but Maru is going to be looking to hit a very clean timing with this all-in. He is continuing to make tanks as well, so that's going to be very effective against the robo-based style that Trigger is going for.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, 1 medevac does go down, as the Observer does point out. The Raven as well is going to get sniped, so good pickoffs from Trigger. Doesn't even lose any of his Stalkers either. It's a great way to slow this down, but the push is still coming.
Yeah, push is on the way. Trigger's doing a pretty good job of kiting this already, but does have a few of those low health Stalkers at the front. Well, this is actually really nice kiting from Trigger.
Yeah, very tidy work here from Trigger, able to force a siege as well, picking up a couple of Marines wherever he can. Oh, is going to finally lose one of those Stalkers, which is less than ideal, but still only loses 1 Stalker. The Colossi has arrived. The shield battery is ready. The overcharge is ready as well.
Yeah, Maru's going to have to take his time with this. He does have enough tanks that he can slow siege this. And Trigger, for his side, because this is hitting early enough, because there was enough damage, doesn't really have enough zealots to just jump on it.
Yeah, exactly. Already forces the overcharge as well. The Colossi are putting in a lot of work. They're able to tank some of these tank shots thanks to the overcharge, but alas, we're still being forced back. The tanks are slow pushing up this ramp.
Yeah, Maru being very precise with how he moves forward this way. Only 1 battery at the front as well, so Trigger definitely a little bit on the greedier side. Maybe Maru knew about this, and this is why he's choosing to go for the 2-base all-in.
It's very possible. We do see, once again, the charge shots are diving on forward, but there are so many Marines behind this army. The gateway force is going to crumble, but we have it surrounded.
Yeah, Serral comes in from the Zealots. A couple of those tanks going to be going down. We still have 2 of those remaining. Good target fire going down on the Colossus, but Trigger actually going to be getting the cleanup here on Maru.
Yeah, he cleans up all the tanks. He just absolutely annihilates that position as well. 1 Colossus did go down, but the other did survive. And oh my god, we have to be very careful. Jesus, those Stalkers are so low.
Yeah, great positioning on that tank from Maru, but it's a fighting retreat here. Getting his 3rd on location only just now as Trigger takes his 4th, so Maru undoubtedly behind here.
Yeah, Trigger in a pretty damn good position. He's ahead in the economy. He's ahead in the tech as well. He's going to be careful not to throw too much away, but Maru, for all intents and purposes, was going for a 2-base all-in, and this transition is very late.
Yeah, Maru has to make more medevacs as well. Quite a few of those got sniped off during those last few fights, so it's going to cut into his Viking production. All in all, just means that he can't push for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be stuck at home, and this is going to give Trigger so much breathing room to recover, to rebuild all of his workers. We have a second robot on the way for double disruptor production. We have a Temple Archives as well for Archons, for Storms. Yeah, Trigger, he's got quite a lot going his way.
Yeah, Trigger definitely in a nice position. One thing that he doesn't have going for him is he didn't get the upgrades going too early. It was something I mentioned about his style in general. I feel like despite that letting him get a lot of units out, it means that he's not ahead as much as he would have otherwise been right now.
Yeah, as the upgrades are just now finishing up, working on +2. Got a second forge as well to help with that, to help with at least the armor upgrades as well. Disruptors are in production as we speak. And yeah, Trigger at least is just given all this time to just settle on it down. And Maru on the other side of the map, quickly saturating that third base, and he's working towards Ghosts.
And Maru drops that scan. He sees the fourth timing here. He's going to know what's going on. At least there's no probes at that force, so not going to be too desperate to get anything going on. And it looks like he is going to be starting to get that split push going, which is very effective strategy on this map.
Yeah, the medevacs are out. Maru with his multi-pronged aggression is soon about to be upon us, about to be upon Trigger. We'll see if he can split up his army. We'll see if he can keep up here. As for the time being, Maru is going to be forced back at least a little bit, just consolidating his army, getting ready his forces.
Yeah, I think Maru is going to be turtling up a little bit. He recognizes the threat, of course, of a bit of a Colossus timing coming out from Trigger, and I think he wants to drag this into the late game. I think they're going to be seeing another late game. Yeah.
I mean, with the turrets and bunkers being thrown down, I don't... Yeah, it's... You know what? This is very Dark-esque as well. Like, when he recognizes, like, you know what? Why risk it? Let's just turtle up.
Dark-esque? How dare you? Maru's been doing this forever.
True. They're both animals. Don't remind me of the data. I've scrubbed my mind of data C. I don't want it anymore. It's my nightmares.
Yeah, I feel like Maru's kind of always had this superpower where he can play very aggressive early games, knowing that if it doesn't work out, he's one of the few players in the world who can still slow down the game and win the game from behind.
Yeah. I know. Oh god, with that we got 2 more CCs on the way, additional tanks, additional ghosts as well, and yeah, we're gonna be settling on into this. Make sure to stretch your roaches, hide your hydras.
He's got to be one of the only Terrans that actually likes going to the late game in TVP, because I remember well, Spirit does this too, but I remember one time Maru deliberately just letting Hero on Glittering Ashes get literally whatever he wants. He just let him take every base, let him go up into this giant carrier army, just let him do everything that normally you're fighting so desperately to stop the Protoss from getting to, and then just beat him anyway. Like, his late game is just absurd. There's not many players in the world who willingly go to late game against Protoss.
Yeah, exactly. And does Maru enjoy it, or does he just do it? You know, is that like his cross that he bears? He's like, yeah, because he can.
No, I can tell you, if I could do this, I would. It would be an amazing skill to have.
Oh god, as we do see both players just kind of vying for map control. We see Maru just pushing out a little bit just to deny some of the positioning or the vision here of Trigger. We do see a Prism trying to slip into the main, but we have a ring of turrets waiting for him.
Yeah, Maru doesn't care if he's going to be a little bit inefficient here. He is not going to allow you to get into, to kill him right now. The late game's happening, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, speaking of late game, Stargate is thrown down. It looks like Trigger is thinking the same thing. He has recognized, oh, my opponent is just turtling hard. Time to head towards Skytoss. Let's go.
Yeah, Maru's even on 2 factories, just pumping tanks. He's stopped all production of bio. It's something, again, that Maru's absolutely brilliant at. We see him doing it in TVZ as well. He knows exactly how much bio he needs to have, and he just stops making it. It's not something you see very often.
Yeah, exactly. Just because he knows that he just needs enough bio to buffer for his army to keep up with these rotations, and tanks will deal with the rest. Big Celerambe, though, is coming in. The tank was a little bit out of position. Bunker's going to go down. Can we get into the mirror line? We cannot. Maru does keep up.
Yeah, bunker is broken. Good amount of army is split off to this side. Looks like Trigger trying to make some openings for himself, but I mean, how much do you get to practice against a late game player of this kind of prowess?
Yeah, exactly. As the Zelts are making their way in. Good Nova as well, but it looks like, yeah, the tank line is just far too strong. The Colossi go down.
Yeah, the Colossus do go down there. That wasn't a great fight for Trigger, and this is just where your brain kind of starts to break against a player like Maru. Like, people are not supposed to want to go to late game against Protoss, and it's very hard to work out what to do with it. I like this DT run by the.
Yeah, we got 14 DTs heading across the map as we speak. Liberators have arrived. There's that fleet beacon that we were talking about, so we are headed towards the Sky Toss. The transition is a little bit delayed, but there is no detection here. There is no turret, so the DTs are getting on top of the planetary.
Yeah, this is going to go down. I think this is in 3 swipe range almost. There we go. It does get taken out. We have the next CC coming on over. Quick recall comes out from a Trigger.
Yeah, he is able to preserve those, or the majority of those DTs in the end. Prism is going to get shut down over towards the north. We see Trigger once again sending another run by actually towards that fresh planetary, or the would-be planetary.
Yeah, Trigger wants to keep that pressure up. We do have the Liberators in position with the tanks. I don't think there's any potential for the Disruptors to get damaged. Oh, the miss rally on those DTs. That is brutal. Trigger kind of falling apart from the seams, having to deal with such an unusual style, having to try to work out this puzzle here that, I mean, is a very difficult puzzle to crack.
Yeah, exactly. Losing all those ETs is a very inefficient trade here for Trigger. I mean, he has his entire half of the map, but he's still trying to refine his army. Looks like Tempest will be his answer here. It is going to be his tech of choice. 2 more Stargates are on the way. Hytos is coming.
Yeah, against Mass Liberator and Tank, I think Tempest makes a lot of sense. I think this is the answer here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Maru's response is going to be. He's adding on Starport, so he is going to be looking to get a pretty healthy Viking count up and running.
Yeah, exactly. The Vikings Thors are on the way as well. Those additional starports, as you were saying. Oh boy, and both players just looking to refine their armies. Maru actually being active here with quite a hefty Bioforce. Marines, Marauders, a lot of Medivacs as well. He's looking to snipe some bases.
Man, I feel sad. Where's Frost in the chat? This is like the perfect day for her. We're seeing Giga Late Game TVZ and Giga Late Game TVP.
Aye. Not like this, not like this. As we do have bases being targeted down, the center base does fall, and the northern planetary is going to get targeted as well.
Yeah, there we go. Nexus is up, falling here. Maru very comfortable on his 5 base setup, just not really rushing to get any further along here. And of course, continuing to deny the bases of Trigger. This is, yeah, such a weird position. Often people just don't want to be giving Protoss everything they want like this, but Maru's just so comfortable.
Maru knows it doesn't matter what the Protoss
has. They still have to break his position. And I don't know how you do that.
Exactly. I mean, we still don't have the Tempest count that we're really looking for. We're building on that, but the scan does reveal those Tempests. Novas are going to be going off. We take down one of those tanks. So, again, a good moment here for Trigger. He's trading quite well for himself, but he has to be very careful as the Ghosts are pushing on forward. They're looking for those Tempests. Yeah,
good Zealot run by as well. So, basically, these Tempests and these Novas are going to be a good way for him to accumulate value.
They really are. EMP did connect with those Tempests, but there was no follow-up. 9 SCVs did go down. The Ghost once again pushing forward, throwing down more EMPs.
Yeah, more EMPs going down on the army there. Just discouraging it from poking forward into tank range. We do have a good amount of Vikings as well, but Maru just being incredibly patient with his units.
Yeah, just continuing Viking production, working on ship weapons as well, just to help, just to work and bolster up that force. Trigger is retaking all of his bases at a healthy 83 worker count, and even though he was losing bases earlier, he has been able to reclaim them.
I love the battery farm as well. I think this is definitely the way to do this. It looks like Trigger is kind of piecing together exactly how he wants to do this right now.
Yeah, exactly. We need that to support these Tempests to help deal with all the EMPs as well, to just work on all those shields. It's going to take a while for this to really get up and running, but I love that it's like almost like we're leapfrogging forward here with the side defense.
Yeah, I do think he needs to be a little bit more careful with how he does this. The SimCity here is not great. I could see him getting stuck on this in a retreat.
Yeah, he has to be very careful here, as they were thrown down in a more of a haphazard manner. For the time being, though, the shots are going to be going off time and time again, getting a couple of gas mining SCVs.
Yeah, a little bit of damage, just threatening these ghosts as well, keeping Maru busy too. I like the addition of Storm, especially with so many Vikings being used. Storm's going to be very important to discourage those Vikings from diving on the Tempest.
Yeah, you can actually see the pathing actually having the AI is having a really hard issue with, with
Yeah,
the
I
wall
really
at
don't
times.
like it. I think he should have just pumped them all out, but I guess he doesn't want them to get EMP'd.
Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. It may even be worth like killing some of these buildings and just like having another look at the layout here, as we do have one Tempest going down.
Yeah, I love the way Maru's doing this, just controlling the Ghosts and the Vikings. So all he's really looking to do is just take out Tempests. He's not... I think this is a really important point, especially for people looking to learn from players like Maru, is as much as he's doing something really difficult, he puts effort into making it easier for himself. He's not going to try to do everything all at once. He's just going to control the Ghosts and the Vikings and snipe Tempests, and that's all he's trying to do.
Exactly. I mean, the Tempest are the only thing hurting him, right? He's got Liberators and tanks to deal with everything else. And here we go. The EMPs do connect. Another Tempest go down, just not allowing the Tempest to snowball out of control as he gets a second Tempest as well.
Yeah, beautiful stuff here. And now he is going to be redirecting his army a little bit. Interesting.
He's rotating over towards... Yeah, he's rotating over instead of... Okay, never mind. He's coming back. Maybe expecting Trigger to try to go for a different angle. So he's just... And maybe anticipating that as he does come back.
Yeah, I mean, we still have this battery farm here. It looks like Maru doesn't really mind too much what's going on here, but he is setting up a 6th base over there. He's just... Yeah, he's so patient as well. That's, yeah, another way that you can make things easy for yourself too. Just like not trying to set up a base before you have time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, he slowly, methodically takes that safe base. Nukes are now going to be working through this wall of shield batteries and cannons as well. We have even more being thrown down by Trigger as he tries to set this back up.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting that upgrade for the Tempest as well, pumping out a couple more and getting carriers at the same time. This is a bit of a worrying moment for him. I feel like when you have Tempests and carriers at the same time, but both in low numbers. I feel like when you have both of those in low numbers, that's maybe a moment when the Terran army can jump on you.
Yeah, 100%, especially if you don't have a buffer for that army. Meanwhile, massive Nova goes off. 7 Ghosts go down. We have a nuke on the way. Once again, the Novas do connect with the Thors.
Yeah, big Novas again. That's one of the things that makes Thors a little bit scary to play against Protoss. We do have the medevacs here, so potentially can pick up that Thor and get it out of there, but Trigger starting to make some headway.
Yeah, the carriers are an interesting addition. I don't know if they were intentional or not, but he did make 2 carriers going back into Tempest production as we speak. One of the carriers did go down, but yeah, that was a pretty good moment for Trigger as once again, more Novas go off and, this time though, the hot pickup on the Thor.
Yeah, the carriers kind of feel like indecision here, if nothing else. I'm not sure if I really like them. But yeah, Maru's going to be starting to work his way through. He's got a few more orders here, and they're going to be killing those buildings rather quickly. We still have Trigger just a little bit unsure how he wants to approach this.
Yeah, it does feel like Trigger is being bullied back as we speak. Something that probably isn't helping him either is his worker count. He's got 90 probes, and I don't feel like in this situation we need that much supply tied up in that. As a result, we don't really have that much supporting what he has as Nuke is going to land.
Yeah, Nuke goes down, takes out 7 probes there, a couple buildings as well, as Trigger is starting to get a little bit of damage going in that top right-hand corner as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's actually going to be consolidating his army. He had a force towards the north, but it's coming back down towards the south. He's looking potentially for a fight. He's going to try and stop Maru from just pushing on forward, as Maru has been forcing his way through these shield batteries.
I'm a little bit worried that Maru's going to be able to jump on this at some point. This isn't the best army here for Trigger, and as you pointed out, quite a lot of his supply is tied up in probes.
Yeah, exactly. As we have another one of these nukes just zoning away the army. Trigger just being bullied back time and time again. But oh god, I'm so concerned about these disruptors. It's gonna go up.
Yeah, they are kind of stuck. I think 2 of them is going to go down, I think. Oh, not quite. Okay, Trigger knows better than we do.
Yeah, I hope so. As the disruptors did survive at the same time, we see Trigger trying to rotate around, but he's actually going to be losing quite a lot of units here.
I don't think that's it, and these Tempests are trapped here. These Tempests are in a really bad spot. There was a bit of a mistake from Trigger, and he's going to get punished for it badly.
Everything's gonna go down in the blink of an eye. Just a misjudgment of the army movement here from Trigger. He loses almost everything, and that's kind of the moment that Maru was looking for, was waiting for even.
Yeah, it's kind of used to be Maru's modus operandi, just to try to drag people into these deep waters where they see how good his late game is, and any opportunity that they get to try to end the game, they're going to jump on it because they just don't want to be stuck here with Maru in an area where he's so strong. So we do sometimes see people getting impatient and making mistakes like that.
Yeah, and Trigger, he's actually going to be rebuilding carriers right now after losing all those Tempests. And again, likewise, I don't really know how I feel about that right now against the kind of army that Maru has.
Yeah, we see the chat catching onto this as well. I feel like Hero is really good at having 7 or 8 Stargates in this position, and looks like Trigger's only got 4. I don't think that's enough considering how high eco he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like Trigger, he's got a massive mineral and gas bank, and whenever he loses an army like that, he can't rebuild it. He can't remax anywhere near as quickly as he's being pulled apart. We see the Nexus going down. We see the Vikings once again just zoning away the army.
Yeah, this is just incredible play from Maru. He is really showing why he is such a special player.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, as Trigger is going to actually rotate over towards the northern portion of the map. There's not too much protecting the space, but at the same time, there's not that much on the ground either as the ghosts are coming in.
Yeah, Trigger, as he does get a little bit more aggressive and he does get a little bit more creative with his rotations, he is starting to find Maru slightly out of position in various areas. I don't really think that he needs to respond to this attack from Maru either.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be trading a base for a base, or at least we're going to try to trade a base for a base, as the Liberators are going to be focused down by these Tempests. The Ghosts are looking a little bit more exposed. Can he try and dive on them?
Yeah, they are going to try to cloak and get out of there. I still kind of like this for Trigger.
Yeah, the Storms are going to be connecting with some of these Ghosts. With a lot of the Ghosts, actually, they're all going to go down.
Yeah, the Ghosts will go down. Maru just getting a little bit too crazy there. I think he does snipe down quite a lot of the High Templars, but he snipes down every carrier. What the hell? That was crazy.
Yeah, the carriers go down one after the other, but we're losing. We're trading out all of these Vikings here. Maru loses his force, and as a result, that base is going to be that much more vulnerable. Trigger, he can go for the planetary.
Maru doesn't have a mineral bank. This is suddenly looking pretty good for Trigger.
I mean, Maru losing all those ghosts was devastating. Like, I don't think he was actually looking at the time. He was just like sending his ghosts forward, and he just ate so many storms to the face. And now Maru's in some trouble.
Yeah, his base is going to go down. He does have another CC nearby, so he will be okay in that regard. Mule Bomb going down in the bottom right-hand corner here. I don't think that's actually worth it. You can only mine with 8 mules, but he is going to be pushing back these carriers as well.
Yeah, we have the Mass Liberator just auto attack, just hammering away at those carriers. The Mule Hammer is real as well, as you were saying. We do see Trigger with a pretty big advantage right now. He's max is ahead 40 supply.
Look at the income. Maru's got 6,000.
Let's go. Oh my god. But Trigger can't actually make use of his army. Just look how many liberators there are. The disruptors, they can't get close.
Yeah, and his gas bank is being worked through slowly but surely.
Yeah, exactly. We are running out of that gas. We are going to be doing some mining here at the, of course, planetary base towards the northern portion of the map. We're still making nothing but carriers against all these liberators. Like, and I still don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see how it does work out. He's trying to dive on this. He bypasses the liberation zones.
Yeah, he does. Maru is trying to be patient with how he resets these, but it looks like the carriers are going to be able to take out quite a few of these liberators. Maru being very patient, wants to fight the interceptors before he tries to jump on this army, and it looks like he did get quite a few of them.
Yeah, a lot of the interceptors did go down. We just have some big tank volleys as well on the ground army going off as well. Maru just trying to remax here with Viking Lib Ghost.
Yeah, this is a crazy game, and the style that Maru's trying to play here is definitely making things quite difficult for him. We do have a bit of a defensive zoning nuke. I think that's going to be taking out that Liberator. Oh, it's going to take out a few of those units.
Yeah, it's going to take down a Viking. Does soften up the Liberator and the Viking. It looks like Maru, he was threatening to counterattack and take down the base, but Trigger, he beats him to it, and Maru, he's racing back home.
Yeah, a couple of those orbiters going down. Painful, but not the end of the world. The more important thing is he is zoning him out from this important northern base.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have more Novas going off. A Ghost. 2 Ghosts do go down. Liberation zones are sieging up here. Trigger, does he want to fight in this?
Yeah, looks like the fight is going to be committed to by Maru. Pretty good damage coming out from those Novas, but the Vikings are sniping down everything in the air. We do have that change to the AI kind of coming in clutch here as those Vikings are able to chase these down without too much micro being required.
Yeah, there's not enough Archons or Stalkers on the ground to really protect these carriers or these Tempests. The Vikings, they just go ham. They take down everything in the air, as you were saying. We only had one Archon. It did go down to the Ghost earlier.
Absolutely stunning advance from Maru as well. Is able to split most of those disruptors while leapfrogging those liberators forward at an insane pace, but he is overstaying here. We do have a big warp in of Zealots. It's going to be more than enough to clean this up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We have a zoning nuke, but that's a little bit ambitious as Maru is forced to pick up. Thankfully, he had Medivacs. Otherwise, he may have just lost all of his ghosts. That would have been devastating as Maru is still being forced back. Trigger has a bank. He just needs time to remax to rebuild.
Yeah, the Vikings going to be landed. Got to be really careful that they don't get taken out by the Nova, and they won't be. We have a few more Zealots here, but Trigger supply pretty low. He is really hoping to get that next warp in as soon as he can.
And he does. He has a massive warping of Stalkers, and here we go. We're diving on this army. A bit of an overextension from that Disruptor. It is going to be going down, and we don't have enough Stalkers to go toe-to-toe with the Vikings. The Vikings are chewing through them.
Yeah, the one thing that landed Vikings are good against is Stalkers. You do not want to fight landed Vikings with Stalkers.
Look at the units tab here towards the top left. It's pure Stalker remaining. We're going for a massive DT counter attack. So it looks like Trigger wants to try to hold on here with his stack defense. I think he probably made the wise choice. We have a lot of cannons and shield batteries available. He goes for the Nexus, so he goes for the Planetary. He gets it.
The DT run by is really smart. There's just not enough bio for Maru to actually deal with this.
Yeah, exactly, as we do have a lot of those, or that Planetary going down. Meanwhile, the main army is pushing on forward here, laying siege upon the stack defense. A couple of Novas are going to be going off, but yeah, Trigger, he has to respect that he has to back off.
Yeah, Maru's starting to work through the static defense with a little bit more urgency here, as he does recognize that the army of Trigger is a little bit lacking. He does cover his flank. He has so many Liberators. I think Trigger, because he's going so heavily into gateways here, just doesn't really have an answer for this kind of number of Liberators, but there's not that much on the ground.
Yeah, and these Liberators are exposed. They're going to be picked off one after the other here in favor of Trigger. Does force to pick up. The DTs go first around, and Maru's got to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, a lot of Liberators going to be going down. Trigger does push Maru back. This is an absolutely mental game. Big nuke goes down, taking out a good amount of probes there. 26 in total in that sequence.
We can see the Novas trying to snipe that Ghost, but the Ghost does escape. Do we have detection? Oh, we do snipe the Ghost for it. For a Stalker. Aye.
Okay, big Zealot hit squad being split off to the south there by Trigger. I'm a big fan of this as well. It's going to be pretty hard for Maru to deal with. This map, the key bases are so far away from each other.
They really are, and it looks like Maru's main army is rotating towards the south. That is going to create top left quite vulnerable here, so Trigger could try to go for a base while Maru does expand and take another. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to go for.
Yeah, the space pretty much mined out though. Maru's just about done with this side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of mineral patches left, but I guess it's not going to be worth it in the end. The Planetaries are falling left and right. But again, Maru just more concerned with taking his fresh mining base.
Yeah, target some Stalkers down with the PM. So cute little bit of micro there. Is going to be trying to get the most that he can out of those before they go down. Maru now with a little bit less to worry about, but his southern flank is actually left open here.
Yeah, he actually unsieges the majority, if not all, of his Liberators, and that means that this DT hit squad is going to hit. It's going to connect. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we still have a few Liberators here. Trigger being very mindful as well here of how wasteful he might be being just because of how low the eco is. Maru going to try to jump on the Disruptors, and this army, it is completely stuck now.
Oh my god, I say that, but it looks like another couple of Novas do go off, but the landed Vikings take down the Disruptors in the blink of an eye. Oh my god, that was crazy.
I'd actually really like to see him research smart servers here. I think that would have been a really good move. And, you know, something that I wouldn't put past Maru to do anyway in a super late game. We have Tempest being committed to. Really weird considering how many Vikings are out.
Yeah, these Tempests are going to go down instantly, but you know what? The Zealots and DTs, they do turn back around. We're going for the sandwich.
Yeah, this is a big move, but I think this is desperation from Trigger. He wants this game to be over, and it's just not going to happen. We have Blue Flame Hellbats on the front there as well. They are going to be there to help deal with and soak up some of the damage from those Zealots. The base goes down. It feels like Maru has finally broken Trigger after an intense late game.
Yeah, it's finally happened. Trigger doesn't have a bank. He doesn't have an economy. He doesn't have an army. The DTs are being called out. We have the EMPs. We have the scans. GG gets called, and Maru will take game number 1.
Only Maru, what a game, but Trigger, he looked solid. I mean, like, there's not too many players who can come out of a game like that with Maru looking like they had chances. That was insane.
GG, well played. Congratulations to Maru for taking game 1, but my god, that was a brutal game. We saw Maru with a lot of advantages early on. We saw Trigger really struggle to kind of deal with the situation that was handed to him, and I do think that he took him a really long time for actually kind of get around to that. But there were a couple of moments, a couple of really key moments where he took some really solid fights. We crippled the economy of Maru, and things were in flux for quite some time.
Please don't do that again, Maru.
Why not, Papi? Why? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I've had enough late games.
Aye. Not like this. Not like this. Oh, you don't want another late. We'll get this again. We'll get a late game ZVZ after this as well. We'll get Lurker v Lurker.
Oh god, I really don't want that.
Aye. As it's going to be Trigger's map of choice, and he's going for Ancient Cistern.
Of course he is.
There you go. There you go. One of the other larger maps in the map pool. And yeah, how you feeling? How you feeling about what Maru's going to do? Is Maru the kind? Is he going to be willing to do that again? 100%. Right?
No. He's going to proxy. He always proxies on the second game. 100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll see. It's gonna be a little bit risky, I would say, because of the overall standings here, the overall score. Onsyde, they have a lead. You know, Maru does give them that lead. Don't get me wrong, but if for whatever reason Trigger is able to bring it back here in game 2, hey, we could find ourselves in an ace match. Like things go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Serral coming up, so you've got to be pretty worried there, as we are going to be kicking things off here on Ancient Cistern in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. He's an animal. He wants us to never sleep. For Onsyde, this is Maru.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have for Team Basilisk, Trigger. He's going for the proxy. He's doing it, Papi. He's doing it.
Yeah, I told you.
Just for you. He's like,
guaranteed.
They want to sleep, Papi. They want to sleep.
Always in the second game of World Team League, he goes for the proxy.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's only going to be a singular proxy Rax, though, so not actually... Oh, wait, no. Is this Marauder?
No. This looks normal.
Okay.
This is pretty normal, TVP.
Fair enough, Papi. Fair enough.
It should just be a Reaper. I mean, he could from here go into a proxy 1-1-1. I think with how close it is, he probably won't. It's probably just going to be the factory back at home. So usually it's just going to be 2 Reapers and then the Rax will flow back home.
Fair enough. So should be working towards that. Meanwhile, Trigger, he goes for the probe scout across the map, does get eyes on everything that there is aware that the Rax is missing. Is it really missing, though? Could be in his main, could be at his natural, could be at his third.
Yeah, I feel like Maru does have in his wheelhouse to go for that fake proxy, but it doesn't really make too much difference on the Protoss side. You're still going to try to take it seriously. Looks like, interestingly, Trigger actually going to put his pylon on the high ground. Maru recognizes this and is going to put this out of range of a battery that would be on the high ground. Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, nice little adaptation here from Maru. Is able to throw down that bunker out of range. Shield battery is still thrown down, of course, but it's going to make things a little bit more awkward in the defense as the probe does get picked off.
Probe going to be going down. It looks like Maru going to be jumping into the main, trying to get what damage he can. Gets 2 probes in total before the Stalker comes out. Not bad at all.
Yeah, not too bad. The bunker has now finished up as well. And we're going to be looking to deny as much mining time as we can. Behind this, Maru is going into his 1-1-1. The starport is on the way.
Oh, it is in range. All right, so he just gives it up. Interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's going to be a mind drop follow up after those 2 Reapers. So very standard stuff coming out from Maru. It's basically just your standard double gas build, but the Rax just happens to start off the game on the other side of the map. And all in all, this has been pretty solid defense from Trigger. Didn't force out a Zealot, just calmly went up into that Stalker. So I'd say this is quite an even looking game at this point.
Everything's looking pretty chill. Rax is floating back home. Maru taking his expansion on the low ground. Drop is on the horizon as the medevac is in production. And yeah, Trigger even able to confirm across the map that there's a CC on the low ground that we are transitioning out.
Yeah, really important scout, and that means that he can potentially go for Blink before his Robo here as well, just because he knows that it is going to be a natural and not a one-base all-in.
There we go. Blink on the way. We have the second gateway as well. There's that Robo, and we'll see if additional gateways are thrown down. More likely than not, though, Trigger should be working towards that third.
Yeah, that's right. Triple Mind Drop going to be coming on out here. The Reaper's going to be distracting as that hits as well. Still not that many probes at the natural anyway for Trigger, but yeah, it's just hitting quite fast, this Mind Drop.
Yeah, very fast. That is heading towards that natural base. We have the Reapers just waiting to dive into the main as well. So ideally, one of those would deal damage. Stalkers are in position, and we'll see if Trigger can respond, if he can react.
Yeah, there we go. The Mind Drop is heading on in. The probe's getting pulled pretty quickly. Trigger has shown time and time again that he has good reaction times when it does come to these Mind Drops, but he did not expect the third mine. It's pretty unusual, to be fair. Massive shot goes off there, and big sigh from Trigger. He knows that he had this one up until that point, but he's in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah, 10 workers go down. Well worth it here for Maru. More damage than was really expected. Now, to be fair, Trigger, if you remember, in the last game, did lose, 11 plus probes to the Mind Drop as well. But that was a little bit later, to be fair, right? That was later in the game when the Mind Drop wasn't as impactful as it is right now for Trigger.
Yeah, I think 5 probes going down at this point in the game would probably be considered game ending at this level. So yeah, 10's pretty rough.
It really is. The Trigger's working towards his third base, as just like the previous game, going for the 2-gate opener into that third. We have the Bay on the way as well for those Colossi, but because of all that economic damage, he is slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, okay. We are going to be having Robo Bay on the way, so he is going to be looking to get into a little bit faster of a Colossus transition than in that previous game. Makes sense considering the damage that he's gotten. He's going to have to turtle up just a tiny bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to have to just take things a little bit slower here, at least initially, but it's okay. Because, mate, it's going to be a 40-minute game. You know, we got plenty of time to chill.
Nah,
plenty
not this time.
Copium. As the Observer is going to be hunted down. Did take 2 of those auto targets, but did go down nonetheless.
Yeah, that seems really bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I guess Mario is just far ahead. Maybe it's fine. But yeah, this first push of Maru is going to be extremely difficult for Trigger to hold.
It really is. I mean, it would have been even more difficult if we had enough energy for disables on that Raven. As you were mentioning, because we did throw down 2 auto targets, we are going to have significantly less available here for that push. We'll see how that is impacted when Maru does move out across the map.
There you go. Maru is going to be scouting out that third and the saturation there. Very cute pro block, and then a stalker block coming out from Trigger as well. So he is showing his skills, but here we go. This is something that Maru was doing a lot against Hero. He's doing this against Hero in TSL, actually. Quite a while ago, but this is a really interesting move that he's going for here. He's going to bring the Raven with the medevac, so he will be able to spot out any observers that might be on his path. And this is going to be looking to sync up that drop with this push.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we'll see if Trigger can keep up with the drop. He's going to be chipping away at this army. Picks off a couple of Marines, picked off a Widow Mine as well. So not too bad, but the drop is diving into the main base. And is there anything in position? There is nothing here.
Yeah, nothing at all. This is a really clever timing on this push as well. Just considering as well that he's so far ahead from the early game, it's going to be so difficult for Trigger to split up his army effectively because he just has less.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, at the same time, Zealots do run into the tanks, though. They're going to be picked up. They're going to be saved. Mind shots go off on these Stalkers of all things. The Colossi are cleaning up the drop.
huge mine shops. Really don't want to be losing your Stalkers there. The drop is going to be taking out the Robo, so no more Colossus for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. The Colossi, we only have 2 of them to our name. The push, though, towards the south has been slowed down, so it looks like Maru won't be able to commit as hard as he wanted to. Trigger has been able to at least, alleviate all that pressure and is now pushing out across the map.
Yeah, Maru getting down and dirty, making a bit of a scrappy game of this. Really good anticipation of Trigger as well to drop back here in time for that push. And I think with the 2 tanks, he should be absolutely fine.
Yeah, he definitely should be, but Maru is in the midst of pushing out as well. Is going to be exposing those tanks. We have a scan. The army has been spotted. Ooh, and the Medivacs will survive.
Yeah, we do have those Turbo Gigalong Colossus here as well. They can fight from an extra range than before. I think that is going to be becoming a bit of a factor here. We do see a decent amount shaved off for that 1 tank.
Yeah, good chunk of Zealots did go down, but we do reinforce those Zealots. We're diving on forward. Mine shots are going to be going off. Good split of those Zealots.
Yeah, really nice from Trigger. Trigger making some headway here. Hasn't quite been able to take out the tank, but hasn't taken any damage on his Colossus either.
Yeah, exactly. But there are more mines rocking up. It looks like one of those mines is going to be taken down. We're going to be committing. We're diving on top of the tank. The tank will survive. Oh my god, just barely goes down.
Every single Zealot going to be going down. That means that Maru can jump on top of these Colossus. Once the extra Zealots do come in, I think he's going to be trying to be a bit more patient, but no, he is just diving after it. I love the way that he's splitting his units as he walks forward, making sure that these Colossus aren't going to be doing too much damage on them.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, it looks like Maru, he's diving on forward. He needs a couple more hits in. The Marauder, oh my god, the Colossus barely survives, but the Order Turret! The Order Turret!
Oh, he does target it. There we go. The Colossus goes down. All the Zealots go down. Maru has done it, but Trigger was putting together a very scary push there, and he made this game pretty close for the game-ending mine damage that there was to the start it off. It really shouldn't have been as close as it was.
Yeah, he made Maru work for it. It goes to show the prowess of the PVT of Trigger, but alas, it just barely isn't going to be enough. Maru has broken the 3rd base. He takes down the pylons, the Stalkers as well. GG gets called, and Maru takes the 2-0 over Trigger.
Gee, but my Trigger is really good, and he is showing that time and time again. I think he is just a year or 2 off being able to be the kind of player that really challenges Maru.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely worth investing into him. Shout out to, of course, BASILISK for supporting him the way that they do. And keep your eye on Trigger because he has been looking so damn good, especially this year. I mean, every year he looks good, but he's just been improving over time. And now Onsyde Gaming only need 1 more game. 1 game. Solar, can he do it? Up next, Solar versus Serral.
All right. You don't need me for this one, do you?
Asher, thank you so much for jumping on and
it's fine.
It's
no fun allowed. You spend too much time with Oliveira, you're like, oh, Oliveira. He's so terrible. You can't spend time with him without, losing some points somewhere.
Smurge. Oh god, as we do have the ZVZ before us, and this is going to be a close one. As much as I love Serral and as amazing as he is, everyone has a worse matchup, and we have seen him slip up in ZVZs in the past, but that's typically against players like, I don't know, Reynor or Dark, or even, a Laser as well. Is Solar one to bring it to him? Can he pull it off?
Young Yakov.
Or Wayne as well, yeah. Soul Spirit. Ay. It's fine, Papi. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh god. So yeah, what I will say though is that I would say that it's unlikely for this to go all the way to late game as well. I know we were meaning about lurker v lurker, but I don't feel like these 2 players are gonna be headed in that direction. It's okay, Papi. It's okay. Only in your nightmares.
As here we go down the bottom right-hand corner of the map for Onsyde. This is Solar.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales for Team BASILISK, it is Serral. And here we go. It's all on the line. Serral needs the 2-0 here to bring it all the way to the ace match to give himself and his team the opportunity to win the entire series. Meanwhile, Solar, Uno más. One game, Poppy. One game.
Yeah, one game's all it's going to take, and I think Solar is definitely good enough for that. He is one of the best Zergs in the world, 100%.
Did Solar, did he change his light bulb?
Maybe.
It's very white, it's very bright, and his background is very clear, more so than ever before, right?
Yeah, perhaps. I think that angle is slightly different, maybe.
Yeah. The angle is
Changed to
totally-
halogen globe. I don't know.
What are we looking
I meant LED. Yeah, it's a thing.
at?
Next observer.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yo,
Oh,
shout out
there's
to
another
the...
one. Zoom in. Do it. No, you want to.
Have you done it yet? Have you done the sponsor shout out yet?
I haven't. I wasn't going there.
Okay. Do you want to?
Not really.
Fair enough. But yeah, we've already had so far a climactic series here going back and forth. Maru looking to bleed against his opponent. Here in the ZVZ, though, we are just settling on down. Hatch gas pool all around, nothing too crazy yet, but I've already seen some wild things today. I've been casting a lot of the Africa Champions Cup qualifiers, and I was casting Silky, and what he was doing, he went for two base lair, which got scouted. So he goes for a Roach Warren, and then he throws down a Spire, and he doesn't make mutas.
Okay.
Silky, he spoiled me, Pop. He spoiled me earlier today. And he goes for a Spire, he doesn't make mutas, and he just goes for a Roach all in. It's crazy.
That's kind of fun. Yeah, that's cool. As always, you see the two Lings meeting in the middle of the map. Neither player really wants to put too much on the line there, so they are just going to be scouting out each other's thirds, and very standard stuff so far. And Bane Nest.
Yeah, we should
Am I
be
too
seeing...
early?
Yeah,
No.
we're good. Yeah. Oh, you know, Puppy, you know.
Yeah.
Baliness are on the way from Serral at least. Solar is going to be delaying his own, as I think he actually delayed his gas mining instead, which is a little bit interesting. We have additional Lings on the way from Solar. We're still draining.
Yeah, looks like
Oh my
Solar might be up to something here. A bit of a Ling flood being committed to. This is something we see Serral do a lot as well. Serral really likes to make a swell of Lings to try to deny the third, but looks like it is going to be just a Roach War, and Solar entirely skipping out on bans.
Yeah, so he's going to be skipping the Banes. He's going to be being hyper aggressive here with his Lings and making Roaches behind it as well. This is going to be very committed out of Solar. And Serral, thankfully, didn't skip his own Bailey Nest. He's got 2 in production, but we'll see how good those connections are going to be.
Such high level play with these individual Lings chasing each other in the map. It must be such an enjoyable way to play, to be able to play with someone else on that kind of level. But here we go, the two Banes do come out. Solar has to be careful, and he was not careful enough. A lot of those Lings going to be going down.
Yeah, disastrous start here for Solar, but that was merely only phase 1, because as we are pointing out, we have no drones here at the third, very few at the natural base. We have Roaches on the way, but to lose so much momentum early on, I mean, Serral now has the map control. He's going to have plenty of time to react once he sees those Roaches.
Yeah, exactly. He does risk having those Roaches being spotted on his side of the map here.
Exactly, as Serral is being the aggressor. We got Bailing's Lings flooding across the map as we speak. I don't think he's seen the Roaches quite yet, but no, I think actually he has with those Overlords.
Yeah, he might actually have enough Lings to make something happen here, and he jumps straight on top of the third. He's going to be trying to zone out these Roaches a little bit. Baneling's busting in towards a natural, but no, he's not going to be overly committed on there. We do have a little freeze in time there as Solar just stops everything in his tracks.
Yeah, he does want to get caught out. He doesn't want to allow those Banelings into his own natural base. We can see Solar is now in the midst of droning. Serral, though, not quite yet. He's going for his own Roach Warren as we speak and still making a massive wave of Lings.
Yeah, wow. Serral being very aggressive. Looks like he doesn't want to go over 30 drones here.
Exactly. He wants to try to punish that third base, wants to try to punish Solar for making him make all these Lings. And Solar's going to be careful because he may be droning too much. He hasn't seen how much Serral is banking up back at home.
Yeah, this is a really crazy amount of units. This is definitely looking like enough Lings to catch these Roaches out.
Yeah, exactly. Serral, he wants these Roaches out on the map. It looks like Solar is going to be backing off, but Serral still hasn't droned. He's still making nothing but units right now. We have more Banelings on the way, and Solar has been droning.
Yeah, really wild stuff. Solar needs to make sure that he spots this, and he does with that Overlord. These roaches need to get back somewhere safe as fast as they can. Looks like they will be getting caught out by the Lings. The Lings just trickle in through the gaps between the roaches. Baneling's going to be committing on top of those as well. Looks like we're getting some decent trades to the south, but these Banelings could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, exactly. We have a massive surround on the roaches and the queens. The Banelings, they're avoiding the roaches. They're going for the mineral lines instead. They're going for the secure damage. We can see Solar shaking his head for a moment on the camera. Drones are going down, and Solar, I don't think he has enough.
Yeah, Serral is everywhere. There are just more units than there are drones and units for Solar. He is really struggling to piece together anything that could possibly defend this.
Yeah, exactly. As 33 drones have gone down, GG gets called, and Serral takes game number 1.
Yeah, really cool. I feel like I don't see Serral do that often.
Yeah, it's very bold of him to be behind in the roach counts and just recognize that and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to make nothing but lings. And to be fair, he was doing a great job at hiding them in his natural. He was keeping his army hidden from Solar, and Solar, because of the reputation that Serral has, I'm sure he just assumed that Serral was macroing, and he droned.
Yeah, and fair enough too. Serral just going for I don't want to say a gamble, because I'm sure he was able to piece together what Solar was doing and that he didn't have that Bane nest, but yeah, just a very aggressive way to do that.
Yeah, and a great way to, as you mentioned, a great way to punish a Zerg player that did not have a Baneling nest. Even though Solar was able to pull back in time and make use of the terrain as well to avoid too much surrounds and avoid the surface area, he still just did not have enough of a Roach or Ling army to really stand up against Serral.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to be having Babylon as the second map. I feel like I see a lot of ZBZs on Babylon.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, the rush distance is relatively short, which means we can go for some shorter games. He'd be very aggressive with the Ling Bane, with Roach timings of Roach pushes, as well as we saw from Solar, as we saw from Serral. He can be very aggressive here in the early to mid game. But after what we just saw, I'm sure Solar is going to be a little bit more timid coming into this. Oh boy, as one more game is all that Serral needs to force the ace match.
Yeah, if Serral takes this one down, that is the ace match here where they can send him again against anyone. But if Solar wins this, that is a Hydra thing and just rolled over Maru, made him look bad. It was brutal.
Let's go. So, yeah, Serral and Maru, they have not played at all this entire year. And will their first time be in WTL? We're here to find out, because spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon for Onsyde Gaming, it is Solar.
And in the top left for Onsyde, Basilisk, this is Serral.
Let's go. Serral showing us all that he is more than willing to be the aggressor. He's more than willing to punish a player for being aggressive upon him as well, which of course did play into it. So yeah, Solar a little bit more on edge, going hatch first.
Yeah, both players going to go hatch first again. We have seen a bit of a shift, I would say, in ZVZ of the meta going from, I feel like a year to 2 years ago, we were seeing a lot of variations of 2-base builds, kind of showing that front wall and then going behind it into either roaches or mutas or nidus. I mean, there's a lot of options, and that was kind of the way people were playing ZVZ, was having those coin flips. But I would say that most ZVZs I'm seeing this year have been 3-base openers.
100%. Like, and even if we're aggressive and even if we don't saturate the third base, we still get the third base nonetheless, and we just try to hide whatever it is behind that. So yeah, it's been really interesting. I feel like 2-base openers have fallen off in a big way. We still see it from time to time, but not from the top tier players, not from like players like Serral and Laser, Lambo, not from them, not from Dark.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just that some of the holds while you're on 3-base got a little bit more figured out and it became a bit more appealing that way.
Yeah, exactly, because you're just that much more ahead, and it's that much more found out or figured out that how you can scout and really come to the conclusion of what your opponent is up to. So yeah, it's been interesting to see the dynamic of ZVZ evolve over time, evolve over the years, to the point where here we are in this ZVZ before us so far. Hatch gas pool, link speed on the way. Nothing too crazy.
Okay. Oh. It's gonna be all right. The CVZ is not going to get so out of control that I lose my mind.
I'll lose my mind.
It could be
with you,
good.
Papi. Yeah, of course. What do you mean, Papi? What do you mean? Oh my god. I'm
Animal.
sorry that you didn't get to cast ZVZ earlier with the Starving Camels versus DKZ. I know how much you love it. Oh.
Wait, what? I guess I could have had like two big best dark or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't mind watching Dark CVZ.
Yeah. He apes. It's good.
He does, yeah. These guys they're too refined. They're too clean. They're too good.
You want them to be dirty. You want them to like be a little bit scuffed, you know?
Yeah, like that last game was dirty, but it was like correct. It was it was the right thing to do.
It's happening again, by the way. Where Serral is going for the safety Bailey Nest. Sol is skipping it. He's going for an Evo chamber actually instead. This could be for +1 carapace.
Yeah, he didn't get the Evo last time, did he? Okay, yeah, okay. That's interesting. If he gets the carapace, he can prevent getting one-shotted. I feel like if there's mass Ling Bane, maybe it doesn't matter that much just because the Lings will finish off the low health Lings so quickly, but it's definitely a factor here as we do see Serral making that flood of Lings that he does so often and put pressure on the third, actually being even more aggressive than usual.
Oh yeah, exactly. As we do see Serral trying to lay siege here upon the bases of Solar. Banelings are being morphed into his face. They're going to finish.
Yeah, good control by Solar there. Not going to be taking that massive Bane shot that he did last time.
Yeah, there's that +1 carapace that we were talking about for Solar before that can really kick in. Serral wants to try to punish this third base. There's no defensive Banelings for Solar whatsoever. Now the third, it could just go down.
Yeah, I feel like Serral recognizing here that Solar hasn't been going for that Bane Nest and he's punishing it.
Yeah, exactly. And there we go. The base does go down. Solar goes for a counterattack across the map, but I believe we have enough to defend back at home. Yeah, we have enough Lings defensively, and Serral's even trying to bust into the natural.
Yeah, he is. He wants to put some pressure on these queens. The Baneling's going to be softening them up. We do have some good transfusers. Solar needs to be really careful with those Lings there.
He does, but you know what? The queens are falling one after the other. The Banelings, they roll into the mineral line. They don't get the best connection, but they did kill the queens at least, and they do put Solar back.
Yeah, I think they might have taken out maybe one or two lava. I'm not sure if Solar got those roaches all into eggs as soon as he possibly could. And lava would be quite big in this situation.
It really would be, especially considering how like desperate the situation is for Solar. Meanwhile, Serral across the map, he's already got a Roach Warren. Roaches are already in production. He's ahead in the drones. He's ahead in the bases. He's ahead in almost every aspect. Solar is still going to have a timing though with +1.
Yeah, Solar looks completely dead, actually. But I mean, we do have a bit of a supply block here for Serral, so that will give the chance for Solar to try to pull ahead in the Roach count.
Yeah, like basically Solar's going to be forced all in. He cannot macro out of this. He cannot drone out of this. He has to make nothing but roaches and Lings to try to push this or try to find Serral maybe droning, maybe being too greedy. But Serral even slips into the natural. He confirms that we're not droning.
Yeah, right. He sees what he needs to see there, and he will be committing to the defense. I probably like to see maybe 2 spines go down. He's got 1. He thinks that's going to be enough here, as we do have the attack moving out for Solar, and this is the moment where he has to get this done right here. Extra Bane's being morphed in for Serral as well, just defensively.
Yeah, Serral is so sure of himself here. The queens are brought to the front lines as well. The Banelings are waddling on in as well, and we are going to find the connections onto the roaches of all things, and it doesn't have to be with the Lings anyway because there's just so much for Serral.
Yeah, perfect concave from Serral. Baneling's going off on Lings, and that was just the perfect punish for Solar being a little bit greedy, skipping that Bane Nest.
GG. GG, well played. We're whipping out the Spirit celebration there as Serral takes the 2-0, and we are going to the ace match. We are going all the way to game number 7, where our teams need to figure out where they want to go. And the names are gone. What happened? For Reynor, Trigger, and Serral, they're zeros.
Before? I feel like we saw that before.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that before, yeah. I think there's a problem with the spreadsheet or something. But regardless, very well done there by Serral, having a dominant performance over over Solar. Just as you were saying, just punishing Solar's greed, cutting corners, avoiding that Bailey Nest, and just being punished time and time again.
Yeah, that's right. And now we are going to be potentially getting that Maru versus Serral ace match.
Yeah, we checked the stats, and we have confirmation that they have not played in a competitive setting at all this year. The last time they played was TSL number 9 of the Grand Finals, of course. And when even was that? Was that like October of last year or something? It was...
yeah, something like that.
It was September of last year. It's been so long. It's crazy that they've just never faced.
Do you know if there's going to be another TSL? I actually really liked that tournament. The production was great.
Yeah, TSL was always a lot of fun. I hope we get another one, whether it's this year or next year. So far, there are no announcements, but hopefully we get another TSL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Neo Humanity is going to be the map. That makes me a little bit more... I don't know, actually. I was going to say, I feel like you don't necessarily want to send a Terran out versus Zerg on Neo Humanity, but considering that it's going to be Maru, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be, mate, you know what would be amazing?
If we do, yeah.
Mate, you know what would be amazing? They send out Serral, and you know who's waiting for him?
Ryung.
Ryung, let's go! Mate, just go for it. Ryung, mate, he stomped all over Reynor on Neo Humanity. Just do it against Serral.
No shot.
Let's go.
No shot. I know Reynor said he's been working on his late game, but I don't really see it getting to Serral level anytime soon.
I want to believe it'd be such a Chad move to send out the tuna, mate. To not just send out the tuna, but deny us Serral versus Maru again as well. Just tease us like that.
It'd be funny if they did, and then Trigger got sent out, and Trigger takes out Ryung.
Oh god, the counter picks. Well, chat, get involved. Who do you think is going to be sent out here as the ace players? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Reynor, Trigger, or Serral for Team Basilisk, or is it going to be Maru, Ryung, or Solar for Team Onsyde Gaming?
Yeah, there you go. Some good options there. It could also, a lot of the time, it just depends on who's free, so feel free to guess anyone.
I love the chat. Immediately, 2 people, Roddy versus Crank. The battle of the casters. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. RotterdaM versus Crank, J1 Choi. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a spicy time. But for that to happen, they would have to like agree ahead of time, and I'd be all for it.
Wait, have Onsyde and Basilisk played before?
This is the first time this season.
Who was...
Oh, they're doing it! Let's go!
Let's go! That's so sick.
My god! Oh, it's happening! This is better than Maru versus Serral.
So
this
funny.
Is better than any of that nonsense. Crank versus Roddy.
I guess,
the battle of the casters.
This must not matter for the standings. I think they needed more than 1 point to get ahead of Onsyde or whoever it was.
It's possible, or maybe it does matter, and they're just putting it all on the line anyway because they're just that amazing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so Onsyde's guaranteed first.
There you go. So Onsyde is first. I believe Basilisk is going to be second. Potentially, we'll see. Here we go. Crank versus Roddy. PvP, Papi. PvP. The E tier players. Let's go. All right.
Wait, so what I'm thinking of is, what was the team that... I thought Maru BM someone because I remember it as
Berserker.
Crank stayed in the game too long.
Yeah, it was against Berserker Esports. It was Crank versus Battle B.
Oh,
remember?
right, Crank's on Onsyde. Yeah. All comes together now. Got it.
And then Maru and Solar, they're like, man, you beat up our boy, and they just BM'd all over.
It's all right. It's the end of the season. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Remember, it was I think it was Maru versus Mixu, right? And then what was it? No.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Mixu was in the chat. He was like, "Oh,
I think Maga or Mixu."
He was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have GG'd." Well, like I GG'd, and he it was too much, Papi. It was too BM.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, here we go. Roddy getting the slight nod over Crank. I think, actually, I think Roddy's quite a bit better than Crank in his current form, but anything can happen in PvP.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think historically Crank styles all over Roddy, but that was like back when he was a pro gamer. Like that was back when he was actually a pro gamer, the captain of Axiom. That was back in 2014, 2015. It has been many years since then. And as you did bring up, in current form, Roddy has been playing more. He's been competing more. He has been laddering and streaming. Crank only recently came back to the game, so he's not quite at the level that he used to be. So as a result, I do think that we give the edge to Roddy, but it's still a best of one, right? Like it's still...
Yeah, Roddy's still been playing a lot. He kind of hovers around 5'6" to 5'8" on EU ladder, which is a very respectable MMR.
Yeah.
So he's a solid player.
Exactly. Oh god. But I love this. I love that the teams agreed to this as well. Oh god, it's it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a PvP for those wondering. Of course, Crank did play random for a time, but he is mainly a Protoss player. Likewise, Roddy. The problem is that does Crank know about the Roddy shenanigans, mate? The Roddy all-ins in PvP. Oh no.
Oh yeah. I guess he probably doesn't. I mean, Roddy does like to go for that Immortal Phoenix all-in, especially on the first game. So I have little doubts that that's what we're going to be seeing here. And I will say Crank has some very clever and particular responses to something. It's something that comes from the level of experience that he has. So, and from having that experience on the career server as well, he might be able to show Roddy a response that he hasn't seen before.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because, as you mentioned, Roddy is known for that Phoenix Immortal all-in, and it can be really devastating. But if you're not an avid viewer of Roddy, then you wouldn't know that. Like, I didn't know that. I had no idea until I saw it in WTL. And when Roddy did it in WTL, I don't think Crank was casting. I think Crank only casts when all players face off against each other. But I think it's very fitting.
Yeah. It's a fun way to do it. I'm sure this was Roddy's idea as well.
Yeah. I didn't know
Maybe
this
the
is something...
players.
True. I didn't know this is something that I wanted in my life until now. Like, this is beautiful. It's actually beautiful.
I'm too hardcore. I wanted Serral Maru, but it's okay.
No. Get him out of here. Like, if we were going to have a serious one, I wanted Serral Ryung. Okay, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I wanted Ryung to clown all over Serral as well. But yeah, the players just
they're getting set up. I know Roddy was just casting, so might take him a moment just to get set up on StarCraft, get all his hotkeys good to go.
Well, that applies to both players. They were both casting.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Yeah, both Crank and Roddy, they were both casting, and now they're gonna have to just set up their streams, change the overlays, I imagine, as well, for like player POV, and make sure that their streams are looking tidy for the games.
Yeah, sick. All right.
Here we go. All right, so yeah, until then, I guess are you all set on Roddy going for the all-in? Would he do that to his boy? I know Roddy has a lot of respect for Crank. But will that stop him from going for the Immortal Phoenix all-in?
These guys are high enough level not to be offended by being cheesed.
I remember Crank playing around with the I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be like an Adept all-in, like a Glaive Adept all-in in PvT, where you dive on top of the tanks on two bases and you just kill. Are there any other casters on teams in WTL? Is this the only one?
Let me have a look. They would have been with Alpha X, but
does Dr. Dario count?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say he's too good, but like Roddy's almost that good.
Yeah.
I think Roddy's been 6K before. That's usually where TLS sits at. Let's see. What are the other teams?
We did have Serral played at one time, but who's a team?
Yeah, it's Serral for Berserker,
Yeah, true.
What about not Shopify? Yeah, that might be it.
Doesn't Shopify have someone?
Yeah, TLA.
Oh yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
We could have like F91 or Xiaosei for DKZ.
True. Hyperion as well, but Hyperion's actually good. Oh, as here we go, we're loading on in and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for Onsyde Gaming. It is J1 Choi himself. It is Crank. Oh.
And over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, this is a Roddy. Uncle Roddy.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Crank with the bad game. Bad luck, Papi. I smooch. Crank oozing confidence right now. I want to
Getting in his
believe.
head.
Yeah.
Ah, actually, you know what it would have been? It would have been the casters setting up the Zoom call.
Oh, true. Yeah, that would have been it.
It looks like Roddy's camera is not quite the right resolution.
Yeah, it's not quite what it typically is, I imagine. Crank, Rocky, he's got an ultra plushie in the background. Do you see that? It's an ultra.
Nice.
He's got some of that exclusive Carbot merch.
I'll take your word for it. Looks like maybe a Totoro in the background too. I don't know if that's what that is on the middle shelf.
It's AsherBro.
Yeah.
Let's go. As the probes are being sent out across the map, Roddy going... Oh, okay, so a couple of things are happening right now. We should probably pay attention. Roddy is going for his 2-gate opener, but they're actually next to the Nexus. I know Roddy's tendency to do that. Meanwhile, Crank is crazy. On near Humanity, he goes for a gate expand.
Yeah. I don't mind it, because you do have the 2-building wall at the front.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he knows the 2-building wall. There's only one pylon spot where you can get it, but I presume if he's going to go for it, that's what he did. Attacking the Nexus as well, just being a little bit cheeky.
Just being a little bit annoying, but this is typically a risky thing to do. We'll see if Roddy is able to recognize this. Did he probe scout? I don't think... Did Roddy probe scout? I don't think he has.
I don't think so, because he would have blocked the Nexus if he did.
Yeah. So Roddy not going for the probe scout at all. He's going for a Stargate first, which is going to be spotted by that probe.
Yeah, so Roddy going for the 1-base opening, and I feel like this is a bit of a metagame from Crank as well.
It really is. We got 215 damage from that one probe. 100%.
Nice.
Let's go. But yeah, the probe should be able to catch wind of these adepts moving out across the map. Roddy playing very safe, going for a shield battery ahead of time in his own main base as well. Really interesting choice. But the adepts are spotted, and because of the low ground wall, Crank, he can just fully wall off.
Yeah, the shield battery in the main will allow Roddy to send all of his units across the map, and it looks like Crank actually... I don't know if this probe here is just for scouting or if he wants to get a little bit cheeky with that, go for a pylon block or something like that on the Nexus.
Yeah, so V's selection has commenced. We have that robo on the way, as you were saying. We do have the full wall off. It looks like Crank will be denying entry here for these adepts. They're going to commit, though. They want that probe.
Yeah, we'll be losing that probe there. These old man adepts take a bit of a moment to get out of there.
Oh, as one of them will escape, at least. One will escape. But yeah, Cranky has a piece of the puzzle. I don't think he's seen the robo. He hasn't seen that his opponent is on 1 base.
I think Roddy's going to take the front base.
Oh, let's go. He does have a probe. He does have a probe to take that forward at Nexus. I mean, he has to, right? Like, this makes sense because he knows that he's behind economically. He now realizes that Crank, because he didn't probe scout, Crank did go for a gate expand.
Yeah, Crank maybe not recognizing the reputation of Roddy there, does go for an Oracle first, despite Roddy being well known for his Phoenixes, and that is definitely a risky play, but looks like Roddy's going to commit to killing the probe instead of having the Phoenixes back home. There will be one popping out right on time though, so it's a good thing that he got that shield battery.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Stasis Trap can still work wonders, but as you said, the shield battery will keep the mineral line alive from that one Oracle. Meanwhile, we do have Crank still trying to piece all of this together as well. He hasn't seen the center base. He doesn't know about it yet as the Oracle dives in and tries to get some of these at least gas. Well, he goes to the stasis. Up!
Oh, yeah, it's going to get a few. 3 probes do get stasis.
Yeah, 3 probes do go down, do get stasis. As you're saying, the Oracle is going to try and get a bit of a scout off. He's going to get hunted down by his Phoenixes. It does confirm the lack of Nexus at the natural location. Crank still has not seen the center base.
Yeah, not a great value there on that Oracle, but we do have Blink on the way. I really like that. I think Blink's going to be pretty important here. We get that recall on the probes as well, so they're going to be able to get to work straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Behind that blink, we have 3 more gates, so it's going to be 4 gate blink stalkers from Crank for the time being. Roddy just pumping out immortals as we speak, talking about that 2-base all-in, about the immortal phoenix. It can work wonders, and Crank still doesn't quite know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, Phoenix are sharking around, and this is where Roddy's specialist skills do come into play. He is going to know the equations on what is worth it, what is not worth it, far more than Crank would.
Oh, yes, 3 probes do go down. The Phoenix is doing a great job of just keeping Crank pinned back at home. He's going for his own Robo now, which is good. Hopefully he can get into his own immortal production shortly, because his opponent is going to have a very hefty army. It's going to be a lot of
these immortals are really scary, and that's where Blink's going to be so important, because he's going to need to be jumping in, jumping out, getting little pickoffs where he can, setting off those barriers before he commits to fights. It is going to give him a lot more versatility, while we do have Roddy as well, just sitting that observer straight over the base of Crank. It looks like he hasn't quite noticed that, or I guess he would have liked to maybe have had that Oracle to revelate that, but we do see Crank pretty well set up. He's got 3 shield batteries back at home. But not really trying to take a third just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. Meanwhile, Roddy, he's up to, what is that, 4 immortals, working on a 5th immortal as well. Like, this army is terrifying right now. Sorry, it's 3 immortals working on this 4th immortal as we speak. The army has now been spotted by Crank.
Ooh.
He does take down one of those Phoenixes.
Yeah, nice pick off there. That Phoenix getting a little bit caught there in that slow zone. Looks like Crank is going to be taking out these cooling towers just to give himself potentially a little bit more time, but it's not really going to matter here, as we do have Roddy just pushing it straight on in. Does commit to these lifts as well, just to try to shave off a few units on the way through. Maybe try to force Crank to commit to a fight that he doesn't want to, but this is actually looking quite decent for Crank here.
Yeah, he picked up a lot of really good units. He picked up a Phoenix as well, but God, that's still a lot of immortals. He's catching some of the reinforcements. His 3rd base is under threat. It's going to be tanking a couple of these hits, and Crank is coming in.
Yeah, 3rd base is going to go down. Needs to be cancelled. Does not get cancelled, unfortunately. So a bit of a loss there for Crank.
Yeah, it's a kill, not a cancel. We see Crank sharking around, looking for some more units wherever he can, but again, against all these immortals, it's going to be a bit of a losing battle here. He's just being bullied back. He's going to try and blink, but again, he gets lifted up.
Yeah, there we go. Some Stalker's going to be getting it picked off here. Not that much for Roddy that shoots up, so some of these might be able to blink on out of there, but no, they are going to be going down after all. Defensive Immortal does come out here for Crank. He is going to be morphing in a few Adepts as well. I really like this, considering just how many Immortals there are.
Yeah, I appreciate the Adepts are going to do a great job at tanking for the army. The first Immortal has come out too. Oh, sorry, the Gateway goes down alongside the Cybercore, so we have very limited with what we can make.
Yeah, there we go. Unit's going to be starting to get picked up. We do have the shield battery overcharge being committed to. 2 Immortals going to be going down, but that blink is quite an overextension. He is out of range of his own shield battery overcharge. Quite a mistake there from Crank, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly, but he is holding strong. He's going to be able to pick off every single one of these Immortals, so he's able to take a more efficient fight, but he's still only on 2 bases. We do have 2 Immortals, so he's forcing Roddy back.
I think Roddy's going to have to pick up these Immortals. One of them does go down. Do we have enough energy to lift the second one? Looks like we're not going to be going for it just yet, but there we go. It does get lifted, so nice pickoffs for Roddy. Those Phoenix really providing a lot of utility for him.
Yeah, they really do. Meanwhile, Roddy's still he's still very all in. He doesn't really have an economy behind this. His Immortal count was reset, but he's rebuilding those Immortals. Meanwhile, Crank is making Immortals and Void Rays to defend.
Yeah, I guess the Void Rays are just because he needs to be producing out of every single production building that he has, but I can't imagine they're going to be particularly good against this many Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to be good to just add DPS, which is what Crank needs right now. Phoenixes pick up so many of these Stalkers. Shield batteries coming into play. Do we have an overcharge? We do, but it may just be too late.
Yeah, battery does get focused down. The Immortal gets picked up, so we're going to need to focus that down if we can. The overcharge, sorry, the batteries are healing that up. It looks like Roddy is going to be focusing on the Void Rays. It does take a while for the Phoenix to take those out, but the probes are being pulled. This is going to be very close.
It really is, and it looks like the final Immortal is going to be going down just barely. And the boys are doing what they can, but it looks like there's just too much on the ground for Roddy. There's too much in the air as well. He's breaking through.
Yeah, Crank showing his teeth there. There's just few too many Phoenix. There's not really an answer for them anymore. Roddy does, march to victory with his signature unit here.
Yeah, the patented two-base all-in from RotterdaM. It's what he's known for, and I wouldn't blame Crank at all for not knowing what it was or not seeing this before. He tried to react on the fly here, and he had a decent start, but a couple too many times he got caught out of range of his shield batteries. A couple too many times he was just losing Stalker after Stalker, in this kind of game state, like every unit is so valuable.
Yeah, it's a good fight though, and he is going to hold on. We know what happened last time this happened, but there's no game coming up after this, so it's okay. He can stay in for as long as he wants.
Exactly. As we're just going to be warping in another wave of Stalkers, trying to muster up whatever we can. We do have a little bit of a death harass, but alas, we have a warp in back at home. We're going to be able to clean up those adepts, and Crank is losing his natural base.
Sim City from Roddy back at home, making it difficult for those adepts to get in on the mineral lines.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, his mineral line is safe. I mean, Crank still has a comparable worker count, but he's stuck with one base. Like, he doesn't have anywhere near as efficient mining as Roddy does, especially with that center base, especially with the base that Crank actually never saw until far later in the game. So he wasn't able to punish it. He wasn't able to really fight for control of that area.
Yeah, Roddy going to be doing the right thing here, just not throwing away the game. The only way that he can really lose here is by taking a bad fight, so he's going to take his time with this.
But he has so many Phoenixes.
Yeah, about as many Phoenixes there are Stalkers.
Yeah, more so, actually. It's crazy. It's as you do see Crank pushing on forward, but because there are so many Phoenixes, we can just pick everything up. Essentially every Stalker is lifted, and Roddy's just going to be able to dominate this fight.
Yeah, Crank doesn't want to drag it out. He is just going to be trying to make a little bit more action, a last moment for the fans. GG is called. Big flex from Roddy.
GG, well played. He's the
captain. Let's go. He's got the captain armband.
Jesus. Did he steal that from Hearthstone?
No, like the captain of the football team.
Oh, okay. I see. There you go. GG, well played. Roddy will take the ace match. He will take that game against Crank. Unfortunately, only one game, no best of two available, but is able to win it here for his team, for Team Basilisk.
Yeah, let's go. Basilisk doesn't really matter too much in the end, but they get the bragging rights. They are going to be getting the win here. And with that, we wrap up the regular season of the World Team League.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That was the final game here of the round robin group stage. The playoffs have been set. The standings are final. And I'm sure we're going to get a graphic of that momentarily as well. But again, a shout out to Team Basilisk, a shout out to DragonKy Gaming as well for their performances tonight. And I mean, what we can say is that it's okay because all four teams that were featured, they're in the playoffs. The Starving Camels and Onsyde, they're also still in the top 7.
Yeah, that's right. So Starving Camel is going to be coming in at 7th. They weren't able to improve their position tonight, but we do have our playoffs bracket all sorted out now.
Yeah, there we go. And we are going to be seeing that momentarily. Meanwhile, we are going to be taking a hiatus with WTL. There's going to be a couple of weeks in between today and the playoffs brackets. I do think they're just going to be giving the players some time to actually work through the Africa Champions Cup because the qualifiers did just conclude a couple of hours ago on the CranKy Ducklings Africa channel, of course. It was a 4.5-hour cast, and we just jumped straight into WTL as well. And as we wrap this up as well, a shout out to Kuro and Asher. Thank you for casting today, man. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Oh. And yeah, with that as well. Oh boy. That also means, what are the playoffs going to be looking like? What are the what are going to be having?
We have Starving Camels versus Platinum Heroes first up, which is going to be a very nice match. Either team, I think, would be very pleased with winning that. They're both going to be extremely pleased with just getting to the playoffs at all. I think both those teams got relegated in their first outings in World Team League, so that's really impressive for them to next time just make it all the way to the playoffs. They both popped off. I mean, Platinum Heroes went 6-5. That's insane.
Yeah, we can see the standings here before us. I mean, Platinum. This is actually their debut in the Platinum Heroes. Their debut in a World Team League. Previously, they were denied entry. If you remember, the Ducklings made it through instead. So yeah, Platinum Heroes. This is their first time, and hey, You know, they could be walking that royal road here in that 6th place. Starving Camels in 7th, Abydos in 5th, Team Liquid in 4th, DKZ in 3rd, Basilisk in 2nd, and Onsyde Gaming in 1st. So they've all made it through into the playoff bracket. My condolences to the teams that didn't. Some surprising results. I think the biggest upset was Shopify. Shopify Rebellion, they underperformed this season. I think a lot of people were expecting a lot of high things from them, but they really did struggle against a lot of these teams.
Yeah, pipped by the Starving Camels. Who would have guessed that?
Exactly. So Shopify, they will not make it into the playoffs. Neither will Psystorm, neither will Starlight Twinkle, and Berserker Esports and Invictus Gaming. Those two teams will be relegated. They for the next season, they're going to be in Code A. They're going to be fighting for their lives against the other qualifying teams through the qualifier of WTL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. But not without getting a point on the board each. Berserker even getting a win there. And making some nice memories along the way. It was really nice to see Mixu getting some wins there too.
Dimaga.
Yeah, Dimaga.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dimaga for Berserker just popping off as well. We were always looking forward to him whenever we could see. Serral even came out. Of course, the team captain, the team owner of Berserker, even playing a match a couple of weeks ago. So it was always a lot of good fun. And yeah, it was some great performances by a lot of these teams. But now we have our standings settled and definitely matches to look forward to in the coming weeks. Look forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Really cool stuff coming up. So if you guys haven't seen the playoffs before, the way that it works is kind of a ladder. Whoever wins out of Starving Camels and Platinum Heroes will face... Oh yeah, here we go. We got a graphic for it.
Yeah.
This is a very confusing graphic. Whoever wins out of Starving Camels and Platinum Heroes will face Abydos, winner of that, Team Liquid, winner of that, DKZ, winner of that, Basilisk, and the grand final will be whoever makes it through that entire gauntlet, and they will be taking on Onsyde Gaming.
All right, one prediction: who wins it all? Who wins it all, Asher?
I think Basilisk win.
Basilisk. You think Basilisk wins it all?
Yeah.
Is it going to come down to Roddy versus Crank in the finals again? Is it?
That'd be pretty funny. I think we're going to get Serral versus Maru finally in the finals.
I'm going to say
a best of 3 as well. We'll get the best of 2 and then the ace.
True. I'm going to say DKZ. I have a hard time. I have a hard time betting against them because, fun fact, they are the only champions. DPG, technically. DPG are the only WTL champions. They've won every season so far. Now they've merged with KyZ Gaming. They've weakened their roster by getting a C-tier player like Oliveira. But despite that, I want to believe that they can do well for themselves. I want to believe that Oliveira can pop off for the team and really show his weight and get some goddamn points and become an S-tier player again. Because
I mean, WTL, if you remember, Oliveira completely popped off KyZ at the playoffs last year, which was, I think, just after his world championship.
Yeah. It was just
not last year, the last season, yeah.
Yeah, he just won IM Katowice. He showed up and he just dominated throughout the entire season the entire playoff bracket. He was just carrying the team on his back. He was carrying Reynor and Spirit on his shoulders. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for supporting us. It is very late here. It's 2 a.m. in Australia, and it is time to go to bed. But we appreciate it, especially, you know what? If you're in the chat and if you were there for all of our broadcasts today, special shout out to you. We casted the Tenacious Turtle Tussle in the morning. We casted Africa Champions Cup here in the afternoon, and then straight into WTL at the same time, actually. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you enjoyed us, social medias, CranKy Ducklings on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord server. Asher, how you been, Bafi? Where can we find you? Stream?
No. I don't think I'll be streaming anytime soon. But I guess on Twitter if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
Where you also won't find me. If you actually want to find me, you can find me on Discord.
Actually.
Somewhere on Discord, I don't know.
You know what? If you want to find Asher, !light in the chat. !light in the chat if you want to follow me on Twitch. Asher will be there this week playing some Diablo 4. Isn't that right, Asher?
Yeah, probably.
We have a couple of days left to finish the campaign of Diablo 4.
We're not going to be ready for the season. It's fine though.
We have 5 days remaining. We can do it, Papi. We can do it. We can make it. We can make it.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be playing some Diablo 4. We're going to be laddering some StarCraft over on my channel as well if you're interested. Otherwise, our next cast on the CranKy Ducklings is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be ESL Open Cup Asia in less than 24 hours. We're going to be casting that on this channel. Likewise, something that we didn't cast today was the KSL. We were unable to cast the KSL, but I will set up a replay cast and we will be able to make up for our lack of KSL. I'll try and squeeze it in somewhere, so don't you worry. We got you covered.
Nice. Let's go.
Let's go. With that, Asher, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
Nah, that's it. We got to see caster versus caster action. Next time, next season, CranKy Ducklings are gonna reform. We're gonna get in, and you're gonna play at the end. It's gonna happen.
If that happens, I'm gonna call up the Zerg Cabal. I'm gonna call up like me and Mike and Ryan, and we're gonna go for some hardcore training. I'm gonna learn some dirty builds, mate. I'm gonna
Yeah, of course. Get the Mia builds going.
Yeah, true.
Get the Go-Go Joey builds going.
Let's go. Oh god. But yeah, with that, thanks so much everyone for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Until then, bye.
Goodbye.